Number 68. This is a good number. This is a good show, and I'm excited to be here. We have a first time guest, Mr. Brian Zix Scarda. Welcome, my friend.
Thanks, Jake. Hi, great to be here, man.
Good, excellent, grand,
Didn't sound
great.
excited.
I tried to.
Great.
Great. All right, this is gonna be a great show. I can already tell. There's a lot to talk about.
You can't
I
stop,
agree
boys.
100%.
Great.
Fun.
All right,
I was
so
lying.
I don't know how many times I said that in the calls I had today. So yes, on Town Hall this week we're going to be talking about the two new heroes that were just unveiled: the Monk and Leoric. The Monk, we are going to call him Wilbur for the time being. We're gonna recapture a little bit about the road to BlizzCon, in which we just got down to the final 8 teams, which will be happening in just a few days from now. We have Zix joining us as a guest for the first time ever. Very excited about that. We're going to do a big discussion on supports as a whole. Of course, DreamHack recap. We saw some cheeky double support picks with double support bands. Ooh, he's getting into it. And but before we get to all of that good stuff, let us do our introductions for the day. Starting with you, Zix. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Uh, hi, my name's Zix. I am the support player for Cloud9 Vortex. We're like the best team in North America, obviously.
Yeah. The confidence.
uh, only rivaled by Tempo Storm.
Good.
Because I love Zoya and he'd hurt me if I said anything other. He
I love
beats
you
me. He beats his
It is
players, I
Zoya.
hear.
Oh,
It gets
That's
rough.
so
man.
serious.
what?
But Art's
Yeah.
so tall. How does that work?
All
He
right,
gets
Zix.
step ladder.
So Zix, tell us about your background in gaming. Is this your first competitive title? What's the deal?
Uh, I used to play League of Legends.
That
I
game.
was high diamond, but I still kind of sucked. High Diamond 1. I didn't ever break into the competitive scene, and I came over to HOTS, fell in love with the game, and I think my first team was I briefly joined Glorious for like a week, and then they exploded. Everybody went to different teams, so I kind of get screwed. But then I ended up at Cloud9 Vortex, so I guess that's all right. I have some pretty horrible teammates like Taza and Syracuse,
Oh.
but other than that,
Wow.
it's pretty good.
All right, Zix. We'll get more to you soon. Kubis, what's new with you?
Spent the entire weekend pretty much watching Road to BlizzCon. Was a lot of fun. There was what 4 streams up, so like
Yep.
bouncing between all of the streams constantly just to check out the games. We had DreamHack over the weekend. Honestly, if you just spent all of your time watching Heroes this weekend, it was gone. I did get some housework done though. I mowed the lawn the first time in a month. That was good.
Oh no. See, I leave,
moved the
and the place
mailbox.
just falls apart. You move the mailbox?
I did move the mailbox.
It's not falling out of the ground anymore?
No.
Winter
Actually-
completely uprooted Kubi's mailbox at his house. Like winter between the plows and the like 128 inches of snow, ruined.
Other than that, really excited about the stuff that came out for E3 and what's going to be happening this weekend, which we'll talk about in a bit. But that's it for me.
Zoloff.
Hello.
How's Eric and Baylog?
Pretty good. They're getting some ringa dinga turkey.
Good.
What just happened?
Sure, Jared.
What's up? We just got made top 8 for Road to BlizzCon. We'll be playing this weekend. Gonna win the whole thing. Fortunately, I guess we got the easy side of the bracket. Some people call it the easy side. I look at either side and look at it and call it easy. So, we're gonna get first place
Yes.
either way.
I like it.
Also, I will be working Road to BlizzCon this weekend. I will be the dedicated observer, which means we no longer have to see Jake's shaky camera work.
Thanks.
We actually get someone who can control the camera, which
We've
is
been
cool.
practicing.
And I don't think anything else has happened since last week, has there? Oh, I cast Road to BlizzCon last weekend as well with Unctious. That was really fun. Well, we're going to talk about those games.
Yeah, we'll
But,
get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Kev.
Not that much. Casted Road to BlizzCon this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. Casted with Forecourt Jester. Then in a mad rush, because I realized that the date was coming up, struck a deal with Gosu Gamers so that we're
Money
doing
pig, money
Titan
pig,
Arena now on
money,
Gosu
money
Gamers
pig.
instead
Town
of doing
Hall
it on
Invitational
Challenge,
is awesome.
which is going to be a lot more interesting because if you ever like take a look at Gosu Gamers statistics and their like how they process replays, you get so much more information out of things. Like as soon as Tempo starts going through the brackets, you can see their past performances against those brackets, and I guess it would be a little bit upsetting, but in looking at things retrospectively, we can take a look at drafting and seeing what compositions were kind of coming out a lot as well. So the information coming out from Ghost of Gamers is absolutely awesome. So
Cool.
Titan Arena 4 has been announced. Unfortunately, it does require everybody to sign up and have to make a Ghost of Gamers account. So we only had like one person sign up. We'll get more teams. We'll work on it.
All right.
25.
Do we get?
We're
a
almost
date?
signed up.
Oh,
Our forms-
date, right. June 27th and 28th is going to be Titan Arena 4.
Awesome.
So it's going to be not this weekend, the next weekend.
Who's casting it?
It's going to be myself and Forecourt Jester.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
All right, I need to hop in here and just say, Crow316, thank you for the $150 donation for the Town Hall Invitational. That is huge and awesome, man. Thanks so much.
Wow! $1,500, boys!
Yeah, we broke that
That's pretty
threshold, didn't we?
Is that calendar hype?
No,
Please tell me that's calendar hype.
Please tell me that's calendar
I
hype.
think it's calendar
I
hype.
don't know. Calendar
Yes.
17.
Yes.
No.
Oh, Jared,
1500 is
we'll have to
QB's
take
Kitty's
pictures.
dinosaur suit.
Oh, okay.
So we need to change some of the rules in that. We decided we're not going to expand the bracket to 16 teams no matter what. But we'll keep you guys updated because hopefully we don't hit 2,000 tonight because we have to figure out the $2,000 incentive because it's going to be something different.
Why not? Hopefully, we could still like come up with something and do it. Right.
True. Anyways, yeah. So for myself, this past weekend, I got to cast with Huck. It was very interesting casting with a player that I idolized for a long time. Obviously, I worked with him at MLG. My throat is. I need to stop
That's
talking.
smog,
yeah.
bro. That's smog.
Excuse me. Yeah. So it was like I was a big fanboy of him for many years, but of course, very friendly with him. And I don't know why there are flies in the building. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a very cool stream. Got to reach out to a lot of new people, it felt. And just the Road to BlizzCon was a ton of fun. And yeah, beyond that, I did not see anything E3. Just been hard at work, planning a lot of the stuff for the Road to BlizzCon because I've been out here for that. But I did watch the Day 9 thing last night, and man, I mean, yeah, we saw the StarCraft stuff, we saw the hero stuff. We'll talk about that soon. But I'm trying to think of the name of the game. It's called like they showed it just after I think StarCraft or just before. It's like a flight simulator game, very fast paced, like space fighter. I don't know. It looks so fun. I'm all
Space
about that.
Fighter? The game's called Space Fighter.
No, it's not called Space Fighter.
Pretty sure you said it was like Space Fighter or something.
It was like a.
I think you're talking about like the genre.
Dawn of the Sky or something. I don't know.
Space Fighter.
Sky.
I'm imagining like Gundam Wing when it all goes into space and they're all just having giant space duels because that would be an awesome game.
Space Fighter.
No Man's Sky.
Yep.
I don't know what it's called. Somebody
No
in
Man's
chat.
Sky.
No Man's Sky. Yeah, No Man's Sky looks so.
Twitch chat's always got our back, man.
Yeah,
So-
Space
so
Fighter.
good.
No
Space
Man's
Fighter.
Sky, Same
So
thing.
Space Fighter, No
Space
Man's
Fighter.
Sky, same thing. Looks super good. I don't smoke, believe it or not. Yes.
All I'm
So
seeing are dinosaurs. This is okay.
dinosaurs.
There was dinosaurs and now it's in the space. Okay, now cool. All right, looks great.
Cool.
Sorry.
It's kind of like the Star Fox game that they made back in the day. It was
Dude,
originally
the
a dinosaur
GameCube
game.
one, that one was so bad.
It was so bad, but the new Star Fox was super good. Space Fighter. All right, let's segue into our first discussion of the day, and I'm gonna try to go down the list of what we have written on the website. New content, new map, Leoric, Monk, and skins. We saw all of this unveiled. We kind of knew Leoric was coming. We kind of knew Monk was coming from BlizzCon. We didn't know they were coming soon. Based on what I understand, Monk is next, or Leoric is next, followed by Monk.
I think the Butcher's first.
Yeah, Butcher.
After the
Leoric.
Butcher's already out in my mind. All right.
Butcher, Leoric, and
Glad
then
Jared
Monk, I believe,
understands.
is what I'm saying.
I hate all of you.
Leoric looked really interesting, except for his one ability kind of looked like Sylvanas, like part 2.
Oh. Okay.
Did
Yeah,
it?
I know what Are we jumping into that? Are we doing that?
We going in?
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
talk
going
about
in. All right, Skelly
What are we
King.
talking about?
Let's see. His trait, I think, was like really the big thing that we should talk about with him, which seems really cool. So when he dies or is taken down, he goes into this wraith form. When he never actually passes out of this wraith form until he gets res back up, and he reses back in place. So you can just kind of wander around the map, and if you throw auto attacks down onto heroes that already you don't do any damage, but you slow them and you drop your res timer. So you can essentially, like on like an early game, you go to like Dragonshire on the bottom and take a fight there. If you lose, you can still stay in place, res back up, and keep fighting, which is insane. Because the early game death timers are so low. I think that's really what's going to make him a very, very different hero.
I'm just curious as to how the heck they're going to balance that. Like, that sounds ridiculous. It's such a huge... It's like having Souls of Diablo, except you don't spawn back at base. You're just like sticking around. So
Hold on. I mean, Souls, you get the extra HP and the regen, right? There's a lot of... You got to remember, that is your trait. You're giving up something that all the other heroes have. Johanna has
Wraith,
4
right?
seconds of unstoppable.
I think you can see the range.
Yeah, so you can like camp it too after they die. Like.
True.
Yeah, you can camp it. Yeah, but so there's going to be some pros and cons to it, I'm sure. But I think the concept of it is really cool when they unveiled it at the DC Gamer.
Yeah, Angelic Diablo.
Yeah, the Angelic Diablo.
Why didn't I not realize that before?
That's the one that's in the
demonic Tyrael too.
Yeah, they brought demonic Tyrael. Sorry to sidebar. They brought demonic Tyrael to what it was before.
Hello?
But it was cool.
I know, but it was so weird. They got rid of the horns and the giant like crown that was above his head, and then they made it into basically Tyrael becomes red and he has Jawa eyes. Didn't make any ideas.
Zix, how do you feel about Leoric?
I think my main concern about Leoric is still his passive. I think that's going to be a difficult thing to balance, and that could make or break him. If it's too good, the game's going to get really difficult with him in it. The fact that he can res where he's standing, right? That's dangerous in a lot of maps, in a lot of situations, and especially early game because of the low death timers, as somebody previously mentioned. I think if his stats are good and his kit is really strong, he's going to be like a top tier tank, and that will be really hard to get around with that kind of mechanic. Because there's no other like it except for Uther's Ghost at level 20, and that's a level 20 talent that you have to talent into.
And even then, that's got a cooldown on it too.
Okay, am I the only one that notices Zix webcam froze?
Yeah,
Did
it
it?
did. Yeah.
Oh, it totally did.
Oh.
So how does this work? Does it go to the target no matter what? Does anyone know?
The Wraith Walk?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's probably targetable. I would guess. There's just no way to tell.
I hope it's targetable because then you could do crazy things like use your escape and lure them a little bit too far when you see it. Because if it's not, then it's basically a copy of Sylvanas' E, which is what I was complaining about.
Yeah.
It looks like it cleanses himself though when he casts it, because he's rooted when he does throw the original cast down. So that is an interesting thing to mention about that.
Yeah.
So if you're still able to cast abilities in the current state you're in, you might be able to use this regardless of whether you're rooted.
All right. What about this thing, the Drain Hope? What does that do? Any ideas?
That is just
Is it
that's just a life steal.
Lifesteal,
yeah.
yeah.
Kind of like all
God,
shell
that's
burn
so
for
good, though.
Asmodan. While he
Because
has
it
March
doesn't
of
look like the kind of spell that would be interruptible, and it looks like
Probably
it
if
kind
you
of goes
stun it.
off like who knows? But if you can stun it, that's great. But if not, like he's gonna be
I'd hope
so
so.
scary. Who
Yeah,
knows?
We'll see it.
I'm really excited about that trait / passive. I think that's going to open up a lot of interesting opportunities for different playstyles and such. But like Zix was saying, it's going to be something that's difficult to balance around. So we'll see how quickly he's able to res himself back up through those auto attacks or whatever abilities he's still able to cast. I don't know, but I'm excited about it. As a warrior player, I'm always going to be excited about that.
Yeah. The only thing is, he just seems like he's outshining all of the other warriors.
You can't say that without knowing numbers on anything.
That's true, but based on like how the kit looks, that looks scary as hell.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
it really
so
depends on a lot of things with his kit, because like that the life drain thing, that also depends on how strong it is how far the leash range is. Like, could be really
Yeah.
weak if it's like really close range. If you can just casually walk out of it,
Yeah.
it's gonna be useless.
Imagine it being like all shell burn, where you can actually move normal speed though. Like,
Well, you can't move normal speed with all shell burn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
well,
move at 25% speed with March of Sin, right? Or is it 75% speed? 75% of speed.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. So there'll be some. You're right. The leash range will be important to know, and how much health drain does it actually do? Is it something that might effectively keep him alive? I don't know. There's a lot of questions that we're gonna have to have answered before we can really even begin to attempt gauging how strong or overpowered he is. Really, the only thing we can talk about is the heroic, the entomb, because that's other than cooldowns and stuff. I mean, there's you can already start theory crafting the implications of that heroic, and like you might be able to box one person in, and then if you put it against a wall at an angle, you might be able to block out more people depending on how it's used. But could also be terrible, kind of like zombie walls. And I'm not saying that zombie wall is bad. Like you could trap your teammates in it, right? So there's a lot of stuff to think about.
Good points, Kubis.
I
Let's,
really like how they're doing it because he looks a little bit more, dare I say, more interesting than the Butcher did. And then the Monk, can we jump to that? Because
1 sec. Somebody said there's a circle underneath him while you cast. Oh, wow. Yeah. Look at this radius for Drain Hope.
Oh, is that the radius? Wow.
Let me
no way.
Let me make it
That
so you can
siege
see my
circle
mouse.
is the radius?
No.
I mean,
No.
who
No.
knows?
No.
That does look like he's in
Let's
the
see if
center.
let's see if it initiates when
Yeah.
he.
Actually,
Oh my
So-
god, that
yeah,
circle
it moves.
is
It does
Oh,
move.
I-
Camera is not available.
Totally hit the wrong button.
Rip. But no, you're right. That's
That's
it
a
moved
circle.
when you started the cast.
Oh
so.
my
Oh
god.
my god.
Good job. whoever
Oh
said
my
that in chat.
god.
Huh.
And then Entomb. Yeah.
Hey.
So
How do you
let's
think
let's just like talk about this real quick. They give him an infinite range on like a lifesteal, and then they like give him a like imbalanced version of resurgence. Like, cool.
Cool.
That's balanced. That sounds about right.
Yo, but he's really cool though. He looks so cool. You got to make him good, right? Arthas is good. He looks cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I feel like the other heroic is going to be trash. I just have a feeling.
Dude, I'm gonna have so much fun with that.
The March Forward one.
Okay, Entomb. Oh, okay, you mean March Forward? March
Yeah.
Forward looks like it could be good.
I
looks-
just imagine the wombo potential. Like if you set up a VP and then he's like right next to you. The thing that makes me really excited is I like dumb heroic picks, right? Heroic picks we don't normally see. So I think of like that paired with Force Wall being like a really fun thing, right? Will it be something we see a lot in competitive? Probably not. Will sick plays happen with it? Yeah.
You're talking about Entomb or March?
March.
Okay.
March.
One
I just
way
feel
I
like the
see
damage
it.
output is going to be super low. That's just my guess.
I mean,
based on
it
looks.
takes out like a quarter of Sylvana or of Jaina's health. In like
You
an
can
instant.
never go on those numbers.
Entomb is
Every
not
single
like-
time they release one of these videos, every ability looks super overpowered by the amount of damage it does.
Well, okay, you can tell like the power of Entomb based off like this video, and
That's what I'm saying.
unless
Like, you
the
can look at it,
cooldown
it's-
is ridiculously short,
Yep, exactly.
it's not
Yeah.
going to be that good. Like it'd have to be like sub 60 seconds for it to be.
Well, I would think it'd be comparable to Force Wall. So Force Wall is 12 seconds. It would probably be something like 30 to 40 seconds for the cooldown on this. I would think to make it fair. Like Force Wall requires a lot more positioning, and it's just
March.
one side. But Entomb is,
Or not March.
you know,
Octo
it's
grab.
gonna be.
It's basically like a better octo grab in a way, right? Because if you
Well,
can,
you can trap multiple
lock down, yeah, you can trap multiple people in it. You
That's
still
what-
are able to move and like disengage.
That's what
There's no
scares
te-
me about it though,
There's
because
no
you
teleport
can-
aspect of it.
it's very narrow, but if you can hit multiple people with it, and that makes it like
You can also miss too.
Well, yeah, you can also miss, but like the fact that you
Octogram's
can
targetable.
completely wreck some, like an entire team with it, makes it to where you would think it would have a longer cooldown. And if it does, it's not going to be that good.
I guess somewhere around 50 seconds.
If it's less than a minute, then it will probably be good. So that means you could have it up for every fight,
Yeah.
and like on Garden or any choke point, that could be deadly. Like imagine if you had a Zeratul setup with it VP. You had 3 people VP, then you could immediately walled all 3 of them off. Like you could do a lot of cool stuff with it. But
Fall
I mean,
Stat.
we also thought that like Falling Sword for Johanna was going to be like the oh my god like setup wombo combo, and no one uses it, right? So we'll see.
Yo,
We will
Blessed
see.
Shield.
Blessed Shields.
Let's
It's too
talk
good.
about. Have you seen my support, Johanna?
Support Johanna.
Falling Sword, support Johanna.
those
You're laughing. Oh, I don't even. We're moving on to Monk.
I think there's not too much to say except for
It's hard. We can
stra-
speculate all day, but
it's cool what they're doing with the trait. That's
yes,
really
I
cool.
agree.
That concerns me as a support player. Makes me feel like he might not actually
He
be a
might not be a
support.
true support, that's the
Yeah.
buzz. Is like, guys, we heard your complaints. We're releasing a support. Technically, he was an assassin, but we put the support label on him now. Boom. That's kind
Got
of
it, guys. You got it.
He's
It
Task
also
Star
makes me.
2.0.
It also makes me worried that you're gonna queue up with them and it'd be like, oh no, I'm all assassin or something like that. Or you're gonna like keep running into queues where it's or
How many
somebody's
times
gonna
have you seen
decide.
people use Tassadar full Q build? It happens.
Good
Like,
amount, yeah.
it's gonna happen either way.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Well, yeah,
matter.
like,
Hustler does more
didn't they
damage.
say that you can play him like as any role? Like
Yeah.
we're playing with the monk, so like
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can play assassin, warrior, or healer. He's
It's pretty cool.
But did they have to
It's-
label him support then?
Cool. They should just label him.
Just based on how the
Specialist.
matchmaking
Specialist,
works right now, it's kind of annoying to play Tassadar and Tyrande because you're kind of
Tyrande.
screwing your Tyrande. You're kind of screwing your team over though because you know that you might be the only support, and then they'll have like a mouth or something like that. You're like, oh, okay. So until they fix that, unfortunately, the labeling is going to be, unless he's able to do a lot of support work, which based on what we saw, probably not. I don't know.
He's back. Zix is back.
Right?
Anyway,
I fixed it.
you zixed it.
he's back. He's back. Hello?
Hello?
Dude.
So I find it interesting that they have to put the support or a tag on him. Maybe they just put all 3 tags on him because it feels like it's just unfair.
You should just call him
I
specialist.
think
at that point.
the reason they're gonna put him as support is because like that way people can complete their daily quests as Diablo and support because that drives people nuts.
That's
Um,
just gonna like if like I'm sure you're just speculating, but if anyone at
false
Blizzard
speculation.
did that, like I would just like, oh okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. Let's for a weekend when Tassar is getting picked all the time, let's swap him to a Warcraft hero so people can do that as well. Just because he's getting picked a lot, like that. What?
Jared, that's why they did it. That's what
That
they
would
said.
I would hate that. I would.
They
I
said they
would-
wanted a Diablo support. That's why they put him in.
If that's the only reason, so you could do those dailies, like.
Yeah. I mean,
Guess what, guys? Thrall's a StarCraft hero this week.
Wait, he wasn't?
I might be a little rusty on my StarCraft lore, however. God.
Rip.
We want a. Oh.
I know, like, people are like, we want a Diablo support. If you ever played the Diablo universes, yeah, technically you can kind of try and build, like, in any of the Diablos, you can try and build a support, but no, that's not what the game's designed about. If they're like, well, we kind of feel bad because Diablos don't have a support, well, that's not the universe, sorry.
Dude,
What about the Lost Vikings? Why don't we
how
have,
am I
like,
gonna
you
do
know...
my weird tournaments where it's like StarCraft versus Diablo? All right,
Oh,
they got to
man.
give me Diablo supports to make
Jake,
that
what
a
have
thing.
you done? Is this
I think-
you? Is this on you?
It's just,
I'll take full credit.
Did you
I
plant
think
the
the great thing that's going on right now is Jared is raging so hard, but his cam froze in a smile, so I just can't take anything that he's saying seriously.
Excellent. It's good.
Well, it freezes on your end, but not on Jake's end, luckily.
Sometimes it freezes on my end. Treasure Goblin before the gates open. Cool. You get extra gold if you kill him.
I like the thread that we saw today. I don't know.
I haven't
if
been on
who
Reddit all day.
submitted That. I will look for it real quick. But it was a good point. It was perhaps a way to start to deal with people that are AFK in the beginning. Like you have more incentive to be around early on. I mean, it's probably
That's
not
just,
why
like,
they put it in.
Like that's just such a reach to get people to like not be AFK the first 30 seconds.
No,
Like,
I don't think that's why they put it in, but it's a nice bonus that it's there. Like maybe people will be.
that's just such a weird thing to add to the game in general, though. Like, kill this treasure goblin and you get extra gold.
It fits the theme though. Why not? It's
But
what
it's
Diablo's all about. Getting loot.
What's
wrong with it?
There's
Is there a
nothing
problem
wrong with it.
putting
I
this
just
in?
think that's weird.
You think it's weird? You think it's weird? Get it out of here! I don't want this. That's
No,
what you're
no,
saying.
it's fine. It's just like out of all the
It's
things
weird.
they could develop for the game, like someone in the office was like, you know what? Let's add a treasure goblin to this map.
No,
and
let's take
kill
all the
it
fun
in the
things
first
out,
30
Jared.
seconds.
No more
you get
fun,
gold.
okay?
It's
Everyone-
just a weird thing for it to suddenly just be like spring into action. Like, welcome to the game, treasure goblin. It's like, oh, cool.
All right.
No more fun, Jared.
I need help with this. Does Rhaegar have a new animation for chain lightning or lightning shield?
Are you gonna be okay?
Look at
I
his
might just-
hand.
Hello?
Look at the lightning shield.
How are you expecting me to see this?
That might just be a
It's so
skin.
small.
It might just be like a weird part of the animation that we never notice, like
Oh.
frozen at the right frame or something.
I like it.
Kind of looks like he's holding like a lightning scythe, which would be so incredibly awesome.
Lightning scythe.
Lightning scythe. Just putting those two words together already makes me so happy.
It's pretty awesome.
Does it?
Words. Yeah.
Lightning
You're
scythe?
gonna
Come on,
doubt-
did you ever
you're
watch
doubting
Gundam
him?
Wing? This is
It's
gonna be
not-
second Gundam Wing reference.
Duo.
You're doing good. So Monk, we don't know too much else about him, yeah. Just from the not animation, but the
Well, based off the video,
Aesthetic.
he'll have that like 1,000 fist thing that he
Seven-sided
had
strike.
at D3
yeah.
as one of his heroics. So
And we know nothing about what is. I assume he'll have some kind of shield, some kind of absorb. Might give them immobility.
I played zero Monk in D3, so I
so
actually very little.
I'm really
idea.
expecting him to be like a buffer debuffer, like auras, like just full on buff and debuff. He might have a small heal. I assume if he has a small heal, it'll be AOE. For some reason, I don't know why I'm assuming that.
I assume that would be one of his mantras. Like you get his mantras from D3, that's his traits.
Extra regen or something.
One of them was like the healing one that when you proc it, it
Was
gives a
those like
small
AOE heals, like auras around him
Yeah,
that
AOE
heal people?
heals.
So kind of like Tranquility or something.
It'd be kind of like Brightwing's talent.
Not a. Okay, yeah, Brightwing.
Like
is
if that
probably-
was his trait, that he just like kind of pulsed heals when he punched or something. Like while he did damage, he pulsed healing. I think that'd be pretty interesting. I'm very hopeful for him as a hero though, because we haven't had a new healer in like 8 months. Zix, you feel the pain, brother, right?
Yeah, I've been waiting for something. I really hope he's actually like a playable support. I'd love Blizzard to go into supports that do more than just healing, because I'm sick of just only doing like healing. And the only support that I think is really fun is Brightwing. And if they make Monk enjoyable and good, I'll be happy. But that's
Okay,
I have my
so
doubts.
Zix, before we get into the whole double ban stuff with supports right now,
Yep.
you're talking about having a healer that can do more than just heal, or has played more in that sense. But right now, it seems like the high priority for supports is to make sure that you do have that healing number. So, like, where's the line? Do we need more like true supports, or do we want to continue to move in a direction where it's like weird stuff?
It's
So-
really up to Blizzard and how they design the game. Currently, it would be
But what do
really
you want?
difficult. I would love them to have like more supports that are based more off of like CC and shielding and have that be viable. The issue is there's so much healing so strong that will never be possible in the current meta because of how strong the other healers are and their abilities are.
Nerf healing?
Be nice, but
Ooh, okay, all right.
I
Different
actually, I agree though. It's like it's just getting to the point that you can't play any of those weirder supports, and you can't have like more specialist supports like mixes because you always have to have that heal. And if you don't heal enough, it's not worth it.
That might change like as the skills, like as people get
Yeah.
better at the game. Like you can negate, because all shields they negate damage and then like they fall off. So, like once people get better at like negating the damage, like look at like when Divine Shield first hit the meta versus now. Like people were like terrible at Divine Shield when they were first using it. They were always using it too late, like you would in Ancestral. But now Divine Shields are actually gotten really clean to the point where you know the burst is coming, you Divine Shield that target, and you negate that damage. That's what shielding does, and that's how it should be played. So eventually, when supports get better and you have a support that actually can shield well, you can have it be as good as healing, but it'd be a much higher skill ceiling, a much higher skill ceiling to be able to pull it off. So it could work, but for the most part, healing is just too strong, and it will always be better.
But I feel like that's how League of Legends kind of started off too. A lot of their healers that were in the very beginning of or a lot of their supports in the very beginning of the game were all healers, and then later on you started getting into the more unique ones that didn't heal so much.
it wasn't
Yeah,
ever to the
but-
point where or where Heroes of the Storm is at right
Yeah.
now. Not even close. The healing
healing's
is
so-
much
Yeah,
much
sure.
stronger.
Oh no, I agree. I feel like it's like the crux of just like the beginning of how to make a MOBA or something like that. It's just everybody's like,
It could
I
be.
don't
I hope
support
so.
them.
But there's a lot of like World of Warcraft, like you have those characters coming over from that world into this game, and you've got like priests, like holy priests and stuff. So like healing's really important for that world, for that universe. So I have my doubts that that'll actually happen.
you just got to make all the other things actually viable.
Tassadar should have a talent somewhere that's really impactful that allows him to get 2 charges of his shield.
Shut up. Get out.
No. Hold on. Something that would take away from his damage quite a bit. Maybe like 16 or I don't know. But
If
nerf
you
him in
gave,
other areas.
I don't care what talent you want to take away. You put that in. Any talent in his tree that's taken frequently.
Oh, okay. Hold it on. I'm just saying, like
Nothing.
nerf him elsewhere damage-wise, so that he can be played like that. That'd be kind of neat, though.
He would need like a nerf to his actual kit. Like you put that talent anywhere at any tree, that will be taken every single time. Because look at the versatility of Tassar's build in general. You got double
Yeah,
Evo,
no, I get
you got
you.
Storm,
I get you.
like
That's what I'm saying. You have to nerf numbers.
you'd have to
elsewhere.
change him himself, like his numbers.
But it's like it's annoying that you can't play him as like a true support.
yes, I agree.
What
And
if
like he has to be run pretty much damage every time.
What if Monk has not only a fair amount of support but crazy mobility, like more mobility than Brightwing in battles, kind of like
Oh.
having Blink Heal? Because we've seen his teleportation, not global presence, but like crazy mobility. You think that?
Is that what's holding back supports right now?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like the Monk to be able to really get in and get out with heroes like Zeratul, like kind of like these like 1-2 punch kind of heroes. Even if he's like a pseudo support, that's based on the video that we saw. He's very, he was teleporting left and right.
What does everyone else think? Do you guys think that mobility is what's holding supports back right now?
I think the issue with that is still comes to like the healing being too strong in general. If you were to run the Monk, if he's played like that, if his kit is built like that, if you were to play him in your team composition, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage compared to the enemy's team composition if they're taking a high healing support.
Yeah. Less mobility.
So that's
Less
under the
mobility for higher
assumption-
heals is going to be more appropriate and more useful than less ability or than more mobility and less healing.
Okay, so that's
That's
under
what
the
I would
assumption
think.
that he's a primary support. What if he's more of a Tacit or a Tyrande, like a melee version of that, where he's in your face, he's applying additional support, but he's really more of a debuffer buffer, and you still
Well-
have the Rhaegar, the Uther.
Yeah, that'd be cool, but does that really solve the issue that we're having with supports right now?
Then I
no,
cry.
it doesn't at all.
It doesn't solve anything. So then
Whoa,
it's like we're looking
okay.
for that solution, kind of.
But
and
I'm
that
just saying, I'm just theory crafting like what.
I
if
mean,
it would
all right,
be-
it would be cool. Like I'm saying, it would be a neat thing to have, but
We keep
doesn't
talking
solve some
about
problems.
this issue with
The
supports,
the issue.
and like people keep referencing DreamHack. That was like we're gonna just like drive straight in if you want to. Like
Yeah,
that was just
I'm
bad.
good.
That was just bad drafting. Like you can
Well,
get supports. You can
in-
guarantee.
Whoa,
yes.
wait, hold on. Let's explain what happened at DreamHack
Okay.
before we actually start talking about
That's fair.
how we feel about DreamHack, which
what our
was the
feelings.
double bans allowed for a team to take out one support. They double picked two
Double
supports,
picked, yeah.
and then they banned
the
the
last.
last support.
I think they banned Brightwing, and then picked Malf, Uther, and then banned Rhaegar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like the other team got out drafted really hard.
Yeah, which is true. But here's the argument, right? In Heroes, there's only 4 viable main supports, right?
That is the problem,
That's
not
the
the fact that supports are weak in any form.
Right. No,
or
no.
that
I'm not
the
saying that.
only
I'm not
problem
saying
is we have
that's
a
It's
like
the
there-
limited pool, right? There's only 4 viable primary supports in the game. Warriors, there's 5 plus. Assassins, there's plenty. But when it comes to supports, it's Uther, Malfurion, Rhaegar, and who the heck am I
Brightwing.
missing? And Brightwing.
Hold on. If I might pause you for a
Go
second,
ahead.
you're saying that's bad drafting.
yes, that's bad drafting.
Yes.
And this is for both of you guys, Zix and Jared. If you run up against a team and they ban out either Uther or Brightwing in their first ban, if you see that, you immediately pick up one of any support in that first round of.
If you're second pick, yes,
Yeah.
you need to grab a support there.
Okay,
If
Yeah.
you're first pick,
Zix, you agree?
you don't.
Whoa. So ADRD just said in
Yes,
chat we wanted
next
to pick
rotation.
Lily there, but the interface bugged and it banned Nazebo instead, so we couldn't take Lily after not banning Tyrael. Interesting.
Which game is he referencing? Is it game 1 of the grand finals? For
Whatever
DreamHack?
one they got choked out on healers.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to. Was it game 1?
The thing about supports right now is there are 4 really good supports. It's not like supports are just there's few and they're bad. We have 4 really good supports. All 4 of them are viable in any way.
Yep.
So you can guarantee yourself getting a support. If it looks like if they ban out a support, they pick 2 supports. You need to pick the other one right then and there.
But you don't have
Nope,
that
you get
choice.
out.
You don't have that choice. You don't know they're doing that until it's too late. That's what I'm trying to say.
If you're first pick, if you're second pick, you need to grab that support then.
If you're first pick, this is really the only time this situation applies is when you're second pick and they are first pick, they ban out a support. They first pick whatever. It's not even a support at this point because they want to hide their strategy. If you guys, so say they first pick Sylvanas and they've banned out Brightwing, and then it goes over to your picks. You make sure you get a support during those 2 picks.
Yeah, they're clearly getting out drafted.
Every time you guys do that? Zix, agreed?
I'd have to look at our doc. Not many people do that in NA right now, but
that's a really specific way. The problem is if it's really obvious when somebody's trying to choke you out of supports, and you can respond accordingly. You should never be surprised in draft by getting choked out of a certain role. There should be no situation in the current ban system where you get choked out of a certain role. If you do, you're just not drafting correctly, unless they switch to 2 bans up front for each team. That's where it gets risky.
That would change a lot. Yeah. Okay, so it's just I think it has to do maybe with teams that are inexperienced with the double ban system, and if you guys see that first ban on one of the supports, the main supports, then you have to know something's up. Just through that one.
In that situation, what would happen is, so say you do early pick the first support. There's still great supports. They're not crippling yourself at all. If you're second pick and your first pick rotation, you grab a support and a damage or a support and a tank. Yep. That's not you're not suddenly crippling yourself in the draft because supports are pivotal. Brightwing, she's almost first pick worthy with the promote. You've got Uther and Rhaegar, who are both great heroes, and Malfurion's also a great backup. So you're not crippling yourself in the draft by doing that. And if they do next rotation, they do double grab supports, just to be safe, we're grabbing Brightwing, and then they're Uther Mouth. Then suddenly, when it's your pick again after the bans, and they do ban out that
over on damage,
you get you get a bunch of Ubers out of it. So that's it's not. If we had this few supports and they're all bad, then yes, there would be an issue. But we have 4 really good supports. Well, 3 really good supports, and then Mouth's on the verge of being really, really good. He's situational.
Certain maps, he's more situational, but he's at certain maps. I think he's got tier.
But even then, in NA right now, people pick probably in EU too. People are picking Mouth more than Rhaegar for some reason.
Yeah,
I
most
saw
certainly.
That. He has a high win rate too.
There's actually there was that infographic that guy did for DreamHack, and Mouth was second pick.
Yeah, people love Mouth there a lot.
Yeah,
more than they love him here. People People will pick Mouth here more than Rhaegar, in NA a lot. But in EU, they prioritize them before the second bans.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yep.
Which is really different.
Do you guys think it's necessary that we show this conundrum in an actual draft? Do a mock draft right now, or do you guys think that we explained it well enough?
I think we explained it well enough.
Okay. I just see a couple people in the chat asking for it, so.
Yeah, and so actually I guess we can move on to that other point. I don't know if you guys checked out this infographic. I thought it was pretty interesting to look at.
That is interesting. It's always cool to look at the other metas from different regions to see what they're really prioritizing. The Malfurion really jumps out at me. The Vala play jumps out at me.
Yeah, they still love Vala there.
And Vala has really fallen off a lot over these past 2 weeks in the NA meta. There just seem to be better damage choices all around.
The thing about Vala right now is she's situationally good, but people shouldn't you shouldn't just still be going multi-shot build. If you're gonna go Vala, you need to have it for a specific reason and go the single target Q build. The arrow build, because that's when she's really good right now. Is if you catch someone off guard with that.
I like how you used to crap all over that. Yeah, so hard. You would say anyone.
Well, that was when we had less damage, and multi-shot build was clearly better. But now there's so many good damages, multi-shot build it just doesn't keep up as well. So if you are to pick Vala, it should be that situational, siphoning arrow style.
That build would be so inconsistent in team fights, though. That would be my only issue with it.
See, that's the thing that I noticed in EU, which was it always seems to be Vala seems to be, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it always seems to be they go for the Hungering Arrow build against an Illidan, and I assume it's because when Illidan jumps into your backline and they're going against your assassins, that Hungering Arrow will hit all 4 on Illidan. I don't know if that's true or not, but they also pick up the Tumble as well at level 7, which gives you a little bit more damage, I guess, bursty damage against an Illidan. I don't know if that's actually the correlation or the causation, but that's a correlation that I've heavily noticed with Valas versus Illidans.
It could be. It could be a counter Illidan thing. But you have to, if you're going to get full use out of that build, you have to be able to some way guarantee yourself to isolate a target.
Yeah.
which isn't always possible. I mean, I'm not saying that like you're going to get awful damage if you just throw the hungering arrow into a group of people.
I don't
but
think-
it's going to be so spread out.
I don't think she's worth picking, like, ever. But if you were to pick her,
I
you
wouldn't
should
say
be going
she's
that
not worth picking, but she's not to this extent. What percentage of games is she picked in? Like, I mean, it shows 11 out of
She's-
13. Out of 13
Yeah,
games she
out
gets
of
picked in.
13
Like
games.
here, it's like maybe 3 out of
That's
13 games.
that's ridiculous. But
There's
And it's
plenty of
usually later on
other
in the draft.
better options is the problem
Yeah.
compared
Right.
to Vala.
Yeah, that's
Even-
what NA seems
Why
to
go
have
Vala
done.
if you can take Jaina or you can take KT or
Even
even
then,
Falstad
like,
at this point?
Falstad, Zagara, yeah, even then those two are probably better picks than
yeah,
Vala.
Falstad's
Yes.
got the damage output.
Seen
The
that.
heroic is going to be more clutch, I think, and more points if you just hit a big hinterlands, and he's got the global presence. Like you can never deny how useful Fly is. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well,
Vala-
remember, this is an EU tournament where they still absolutely love matching up those 3 to 4 blood for bloods as well. And I think Vala not only brings like somewhat consistent damage, but also another blood for blood to the table.
That's a good point. That is a good
Well,
point.
Vala's, like, the consistent damage was good back when there was less consistent damage. But if you're drafting right, you should be able to
Yeah.
guarantee you KT, Jaina, Sylvanas, some of the bigger damages that guarantee you that consistent damage.
Right,
That's when getting a more utility pick like Zagara is better because she does similar damage, but she's got a heroic that's not just like, a spinning strafe that like does
Right.
more damage.
Think about kill, blood for blood. Blood for blood is a late game bonus, right? Level 16, you get that. It's late game. If I could have Kael'thas versus another blood for blood, I'm gonna pick Kael'thas every single time. Like,
But Kael'thas
I mean,
is...
if you know you need to go on it blood for blood, you're just gonna go Sylvanas early on if she's available. Like, why would you ever
Oh,
pick
yeah.
Vala over Sylvanas if it's there? And then you wouldn't pick both of them in the same composition. Sylvanas is always gonna be like way up there compared to Vala.
Yeah. And
Well,
EBB
Sylvanas was banned pretty heavily during these games
Yeah,
as well.
I mean,
5
she
out
should
of
be.
13.
she's gonna be first pick or first ban
Yeah.
constantly right now. She's just too good.
And if people desperately
So-
want blood for blood, just run Rhaegar. No one picks them anyway besides us, really.
It's true. You guys play a lot of Rhaegar.
The thing is that I think it's just because of the double ban during DreamHack. Because if you look at the bans, if you scroll down like midway, Illidan was banned 7 times, Kael'thas 5 times, Sylvanas 5 times. Like those are the ones that you would normally put instead of that Vala.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because they get banned all the time that Vala starts showing up more.
I think yes. Bottom line, this support issue is not really an issue.
Wait, somebody picked Nazebo?
It was a ban, wasn't it?
Oh,
It was,
he already
uh,
said it was
ban.
accidental.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
accidental, yeah.
The
So
ban.
what? They can't go back and
No.
Apparently DreamHack said no reduces.
rip. Okay.
I mean, even with
Draft-
that giraffe, like, you get choked into a Lily if you drafted wrong still.
Choked into a Lele.
So highest win rates, Inub and Vala
Yeah.
and Mouth. Oh no, these are number
Or
of
times
games
picked.
the number of
Times,
games.
yeah, it's
Picks
orange
versus
is
victory.
victorious versus. So ETC apparently got like wrecked, which nobody was surprised about.
Malf is the most successful hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost Vikings are up there as well.
Anu Barak was the most successful.
Look at this. Look at this Vala.
Yeah, 11-5.
Yeah, less than half, less than a 50% win rate in this tournament.
Who?
Vala.
Vala.
Hello.
She only won 5 out of 11 games.
Hello?
Great.
Jaina was a more scary one.
Booty.
7-2.
The
Booty.
Brightwing
7
surprises
mixed
me.
wins.
That is weird.
Jaina-
oh my
10
God,
and 2?
What?
Yeah. 7 picks of Jaina. 2 of them actually led to
Europe,
victories.
if you need Brightwing tutorials, I will teach you the ways.
People are.
Zix thought I was setting him up.
I see how it is. Shoot me down.
People are getting predictable for Jaina play. Like K1 Pro started the style of Jaina where you go in for the super hard flank, you blow up the backline, and then you sprint out. You get out. You're
I
done.
mean, we can. If you watch the WCA finals, Tempo Storm literally abuses the crap out of that. They just wait for the flank out of Jaina. You
And
just
then they
watch.
blow 'em up.
You just wait, and then you just eliminate her instantly.
That's what happened in
Is that
the
when you
EU
used
all
Tyrael?
weekend.
Was that the Tyrael Tassadar game?
Probably.
I think
Yes.
you used Tyrael Tassadar one game, and you just
Yeah.
the second you saw her
I'll
with
stat him.
Oracle, you just judgment, and she'd be dead.
Yeah.
And she would always be completely secluded from her team. Just absolutely picked her apart.
And that's what happened with EU. It's just like Jainas are becoming predictable. You don't have to play just that style. You can, but there's multiple. Like you don't have to flank with Jaina every fight, and that's what people have been doing lately. And it gets punished.
I want to say it was either Cloud9 Maelstrom versus Cog or Tempo Storm versus 2Arc. There was a Jaina that kept flanking, and somebody had lost Vikings. It was on Dragonshire, and they just kept putting like Olaf in the bush, waiting for the Jaina. Jaina would stumble her way over there, and then the entire team would turn around and just blow up Jaina, and then they would engage again. I forget what game it was.
It's probably Maelstrom versus Cog. It wasn't 2Arc. 2Arc was too busy doing random stuff.
2Arc.
Oh God.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. I think it was C9 versus Cog.
So
It definitely wasn't on Sunday.
let's power through some of these final stats from DreamHack. 100% pick ban on Brightwing, Anubarak, Kael'thas, and then Illidan, Muradin, Sylvanas, Tyrael, all very high up there. Valazera, Vikings, pretty on par with what we see here in NA.
I really don't like the way
Johanna's-
they made this graphic.
Johanna's not at all used, it looks like, based on this. Not
Really?
compared to.
I think she was banned out for this tournament.
Yeah, that would make more
Oh,
sense. Joanna is
yeah,
Yeah,
makes
she was,
really.
I'm pretty sure she was banned out for
Okay,
DreamHack.
that makes way more sense.
No, this is the first time that the three big regions, China, EU, and NA, have, if you look at their compositions,
Very
outside of like the weird teams like Fnatic and 2Arc, they have very similar like not
Yeah.
drafts, but compositions. Everyone prioritizes heroes differently. Like Malfurion, like we talked about, EU prioritizes them more. But if you look at the composition at the end, this is the first time that all three regions are drafting similar, except for Team Liquid, because people like giving them double healer Illidan for some reason.
Was just talking about this to Jake earlier
Yeah.
today in the town hall chat. It's just like I was watching China games and I was like, all of like E-Star, EDG, AB, whatever the heck their name is, like all of their drafts. I was just like, this, I can predict this. This is gonna be, they're gonna pick up this, and I look at the end, I'm just like, there's nothing different between what we draft and what they draft. I think the only thing that actually caught me off guard after watching like 5 straight China games for WCA was the one Brightwing picked up an Envenom instead of Protective Shield. And I was like, that's weird.
Hey.
But
Zix
Hey,
runs that. Zix
hey.
runs that.
In certain situations, in certain
wait.
games,
Wait, do you do it as a solo Envenom though?
Yeah.
as a solo Envenom.
He
Yeah,
does.
like-
Oh,
yeah.
as the only Envenom in the team composition, you pick it based off of like your team composition. It has nothing to do with like how many Envenoms you have on your team. I
Okay.
picked it in Tomb of the Spider Queen against Cloud9 Maelstrom, and it's when we were playing Illidan and Abathur, and so we were looking to play really aggressive on their side of the map with a lead
Okay,
when
so
we
that
had the
makes
lead.
sense. 'Cause
And
that's
so
where you phase shift onto the Illidan, Abathur hat, throw the Envenom down, that target's gonna die.
we were also our whole composition that game and the way we were planning on playing that game was to be really aggressive, and you can't duel a Brightwing in the top lane with an Envenom.
No, you
It's
go Envenom.
very few people that can one-on-one the Brightwing in those situations.
I want to ask: is it guaranteed blink heal when you go Envenom?
Not gonna tell you that.
Damn.
Trade secrets.
Damn.
It's guaranteed blink kill no matter what right now. No one
Yeah,
goes
yeah. No, Emerald Wind has taken a backseat, unfortunately.
mean,
as fun
yeah.
as it is.
It certainly has. For
Remember
good
that time
reason.
when Jake predicted that Emerald Wind would be a used thing? God.
Well, let's double back to why the teams are all regions are drafting the same now. It's you're no longer able to draft a style of composition. You can no longer be like we're going blow up from the start. You know, no matter what the meta is, people like EU has their metas, NA has their metas where you're like, it's going to be blow up centric, it's going to be pick centric, it's going to be sustain centric. You can't do that anymore because of the drafting format. Everything is about just getting powerful heroes, and it's clear across all the regions which heroes are the powerful ones. You have Kael'thas, Jaina, Sylvanas. Like everyone knows which one the good ones are. You can no longer be like this game we're going blow up no matter what. And you have to draft from that from the start before. You can't like go into wanting to go and blow up and then just ban whatever. You have to know from the ban what you're running, and now you can't really do that anymore because as soon as you start seeing one of those compositions form, you ban it out mid tier, and then you get to snipe those heroes away. So now it's just all about powerful picks and less about it's all about small synergies between a few heroes like Joanna, Tyrande. You see a lot of pulls into stuns and stuff, but it's never a compositional strat, and that's at least what I think has made the regions more centered, the
That's very
same.
Well, also probably because a lot of people are just starting to watch a lot more. Like, we didn't even know how to watch China YouTube videos before because we didn't really have, accounts or anything to really watch their stuff. And I think probably now, since WCA is coming up, everybody's starting to study everybody. and that's
Yeah.
probably going to start leading
I
to
think
more,
Road to
more like
BlizzCon is
similarity.
far more of a drive
Oh, yeah,
than
that's true.
WCA.
Sorry, yeah, sorry. Road to
WCA is
BlizzCon as
cool
well.
and good, and yeah,
That's right.
everybody's
Yeah,
playing
Road
for
to
that. But
BlizzCon's
Road to
more
BlizzCon is the global competition.
more
$1.2
global
million.
tournaments. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's pause it right
We'll go with that.
here.
We'll go with that.
More global
Well,
tournaments.
I don't.
So-
I don't think that's the reason because like the competitive scene has like had China VODs since like
Yeah, but do they
December.
have a reason to study
Yes.
the China VODs?
And we've been
Yeah.
watching EU for a while as well. Like we
I mean-
studied EU since they started playing. They were just bad. Like that's why we didn't copy them.
Regardless of how you look at it, though, the game just went public. The competition is rising in all regions, and everyone's looking for an edge, right? I guarantee you, they're starting to get more of an ecosystem out there now that
Yeah.
there's more money. They're starting to have more people that are actually just scouting regions. So they're pulling VODs from the, let's say, this past weekend, or let's say the WCA finals, or even ESL season 2. Like suddenly there's like all these things that it's very obvious what they should be watching for each reason and what teams are out there now that the scene's more established. So I don't know, I think it's probably the one of the bigger factors. Rip my voice. Ugh.
It's still too early to study other regions, though, right now.
Why is that?
With the tournaments. Well, so that being the specific reason is what I'm talking about. That's not the specific reason because people have been watching VODs beforehand. There's always been a reason to watch the VODs, and it has nothing to do with that there's going to be the international tournaments coming up. When the international
ideas, I
tournaments
think.
come up, they're gonna like then that's when you start researching a bit more. But like before, you want to know like what other regions are doing, and like you can get ideas from other regions. I think there's something you can learn by watching every single region, watching other teams play,
Yeah,
especially when the game was much earlier.
I mean,
or
it's
younger.
important to. It just comes down to like play styles, like which like the draftings from before. That's less important now, but like there's always been a reason to study. Like look at the Zeratul build. Like everyone in every region is running that now, just because some random Korean team did it. Everyone is doing it now.
Yeah.
You know, there's always been like, and that's happened before with builds specifically. Like Asmodan, Tempo Storm brought Asmodan to the scene, and now every region runs Asmodan. You know, there's been reasons to watch, but it's never been like fully compositionally. Like that's never because that just comes on the play style. EU has always been more aggressive than NA, which is why they do their, you know, they've always prioritized Tyrande and stuff, whereas NA's always been more pushing and, you know, team fight oriented. They're more
Though
like realm.
it's funny that you say that because you were saying before that the smaller synergies are existing, but at the same time you can also start picking out things and banning it really quickly. Muradin was picked a whole bunch, but Tyrande was hardly even banned in EU. And during the lead up to Enter the Storm, up until Enter the Storm, which was all single bans, Tyrande was run exclusively. Now, look at DreamHack. Tyrande wasn't even banned at all. And Muradin Tyrande used to be like their go-to thing. It was the Navi thing. It's gone now. And I assume it has to be because everybody's like, listen, we pick up Muradin, somebody's going to ban out Tyrande. I bet Muradin was probably at the bottom half of those compositions. Because I don't think he's really like top priority over there. But it's just, it seems like it's weird because it's, you want to go for those types of strong synergies, but at the same time, it's like that one is so like leads up so easily that people can easily start sniping that one.
Well,
And I think that's why it scared it away.
Trying to Murden like is a great synergy with those two, but you also have to have synergy with the other three heroes as well.
That's true.
Tyrande
That's true.
needs to have follow up that can like secure those kills and then continue the fight afterwards.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's much harder to pull that off now with the current double ban system.
It's an interesting
Yeah,
standard.
I
like,
can't believe how far Tyrande fell in EU because it was legit like every game
Yeah.
you were seeing Tyrande and now just dead.
I can bring up like my stats of like when I was studying for ETS. It was like ridiculous. I was just like, whoa, they're banning Tyrande, all this stuff. Like first ban Tyrandes. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Go to DreamHack this past weekend. Tyrande who?
You went to
Tyrande
DreamHack?
what?
You went there.
I wish I went there.
Yeah. It's weird that they're still picking Hammer though. Like G2, what?
Let's. Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I want it
jeez.
to be
Don't
a
you know
thing.
Hammer's the best?
I love G2. They're all cool guys, but Hammer, man, they will never let her go.
Picked her once though. Not the
That's
whole
all
entire
it takes. Okay.
Yeah.
if Vortex were to pick Gazlo and like, that's what all we'd be talking about right now. So you
Yeah.
know, they pick Hammer. That's all that needs to be talked about. They did it once. That's all it takes.
True. That's all it takes.
True.
All right. Moving down the list, supports. I think
Double
we talked about
supports.
it enough. What's
Yeah.
happening in the meta? Well, it's all the same. We just talked about that too. So our next topic, of course, is the road to BlizzCon. Now, the Open qualifiers did start this past week for North America. It was the NA Open. That's the new terminology. They called it the June North America Open. That is the official terminology. And we had 97 teams sign up initially. Multiple teams were disqualified due to various reasons. Maybe players dropped out. I don't even know. And now I think the final number was 90. It was exactly 90 teams
Okay.
for the event. By far the largest tournament in North America so far for Heroes, excluding Dorm. Which is a little bit of a different situation. There was Dorm. The big drive is you got free access to Alpha if you signed up.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that was a very different situation. So I exclude that. I don't think it counts. So we've been talking about growth, and that's a pretty big deal. I mean, I'm just going to pull up the Go for Hero site and
Yes.
let's see what the numbers look like just to get some metrics here. But you guys pretty happy with those numbers? What were you guys expecting for the first time?
I think it's really safe to say that the growth is enduring.
God.
Did you?
What?
Did you?
Ooh.
I was personally expecting maybe 50 teams.
60 teams honestly would have been, I think,
I
a
wasn't
pipe
too
dream
shocked,
for me.
surprisingly. I don't know why, but
Not
when I
shocked?
saw the numbers, I wasn't like awe. Like I don't know
I
why.
mean, it could happen, but
I think it's
was-
just because like with the launch, and like Blizzard was offering like BattleNet codes, so just getting like top 32 and stuff or BattleNet
Yeah.
bucks, or whatever. Like that would be enough. For, like
300.
that would be enough to get me and my friends to sign up like easily.
Yeah. So just comparing this to Go For, which is probably the most common event we have in Heroes, it happens every week. The past Go Fours have been about 18 to 20 teams for North America. Europe, ranging between 40 to 50, sometimes like 60. That's the higher. 72, 82. They've hit back in March. It kind of ranges. People get burnt out because the reward for Go For is very low, right? A lot of the high teams don't compete for that $100, but
That takes
it's
you
still like an average thing. But to get 90 teams in North America when our biggest event prior to this was probably maybe 40.
that's why I
Maybe,
was so shocked.
maybe
40.
Yeah.
maybe
When
30.
did we ever get 40?
I don't
30?
know, we probably
When did we ever
have.
get 30, Jake?
Yeah.
Like if we get 20, it's like whoa.
Yeah, you're right. And
It was cool. The cool thing about the 90 teams is like you got to see an insane, disgusting diversity in skill levels, which is both good and bad. There will legit be a game. Like I think Unctuous and I day two, we covered a team. They 3-0'd or they 2-0'd stomped, wasn't even close. Next game, that team that just 2-0 stomped got 2-0 stomped, and the game after that, the team that just 2-0 stomped the 2-0 stomping got 2-0 stomped. So it was just like. You got to see this wide variety of skill, and then it's like, well, that wouldn't even come close to what
That
even
was-
Stellar Lotus could do.
I mean, I have the same exact story, but oh God, not don't go near that.
Ooh.
Same exact story. 5-level lead on one team, they crush them. Just 5-level lead. Next game, they get crushed. 5-level lead by the opposing team. I was just like, what? But it was fun.
And the interesting thing there was that we were watching. Because I was personally checking profiles, so I would check a game and I was like, okay,
That's far too much
well
work.
these guys are rank 50 and they like rank 50 in Hero League and they are player level 40 and they just got like 2-0 5-minute stomped by this team and this is a bunch of like rank 1s in Hero League, but just barely. Like some of them were 2 or 3. And then Tempo Storm came in and then like stomped them, and I was like, "That's the beginning of Hero League to the end of Hero League. Is the same gap as if you're rank 1 in Hero League to Tempo Storm."
You can also look at it like you have 2-Arc, top 5 team. Exact same situation happened when Tempo Storm hit them. 3-4 level leads, 2-0 stomp. So even at the top 5 level, there's a big difference in skill. So
Well, that's Temple Storm's a unique situation. Temple Storm, kind of ahead of the pack right now. I don't think a lot of people can argue that after two.
I mean, you could
3-0
make
wins.
the same argument for Team Liquid too. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Clearly,
exactly.
G2 and stuff, they're not terrible teams, but Team Liquid
Right.
makes them look
They just kind
terrible.
of outclass them. There's a different grasp in the game. But overall, thoughts on the first weekend of the event? I mean,
You played Zix, right? How was your tournament?
I waited 6 hours before I played when I woke up at 11 a.m. It was
it was scheduled that way, I think.
yeah. I didn't know it was scheduled that way, so I woke
Okay.
up early.
Well,
So
that's
that
your
was
fault.
interesting.
Rip you.
I don't know. It was interesting. I'm glad so many teams signed up. It's good to see growth in the scene. I think it is really because of like there was more incentive. Go for heroes. It's money for first place. If you see a team like Temple Storm or any of the Cloud9 teams, if you're a new team, you're like, nah, screw that. I'll go play Hero League. So people had a reason, and everybody got exposure, which I think the scene is lacking a lot. So it's good that everybody was getting exposure because there were like 4 or 5 streams running that day. I thought
Yeah,
it
there's
was
4.
pretty well done.
Yeah, it was a great event to cast as well. It was just fun to like just watch all these different games and still try and come up with different reasons of why they went Gazlo Lili. And we were like, yeah, this could work. It's not working.
Oh, God. So we joined a game after the first draft happened, and they linked us the draft link. And as soon as we see it, we see first pick Lili. We're like, this is the wrong draft. Like we messaged them, so they sent it again. They're like, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually the draft. And we look at the lobby, and there's Lili, and we're just like, oh my God. And this was the round of 32 too. So this is why we were like really shocked. Like, why? How is this? How is this the draft? And turns out they had buys all the way to the round of 32. So that
And then they went bye.
Woo! You coughed and made the screen go down faster.
Every time.
Well, yeah, these are all the teams that competed. Of course, this bracket is quite large. We've been scrolling for quite a while now. There's the end. But it all comes down to 8 teams.
Is the lack of seeding worth talking about at all?
Yeah, go ahead. And I will.
Well, that generated a whole bunch of discussion.
There's a lot of drama about it. Basically, with the established NA scene, you had it really stacked on the upper half of the bracket, whereas the lower half only had Tempo Storm and 2ARC. And the fact that Tempo Storm and 2ARC hit in the round of 16, which you would want those both teams into the top 8, kind of sucked. And then you had the top half where like you had everyone else, and there were a lot of early eliminations for some teams, and that should technically should be top 8. I just made fun of 2ARC because we crushed them, but they are top 8. They are top 4
top
right
5.
now.
Yeah,
top 5, top 4.
easy.
They deserve to be there, and they got knocked out in the round of 16 for the first BlizzCon caller, which sucks.
It sucks, but it's the kind of thing that you kind of have to expect to happen. Now, there was no seeding for this.
Randomized.
We can look at the bracket here just really quickly. This is what the round of 8 will be. Maelstrom, Zevron, Vortex, Complexity, Plato, some Tangos with Team Blaze. Now these, both of those teams have dorm players, so they're not completely unknown. Pool Plato has 2 players from Boston College, which made it to top 4 Heroes of the Dorm. And they have a big background with Han and League, and the plays, and then Tempo Storm. It's going to be tough for the plays. That's like Lex Luthor and crew. They've been
Solo
around.
queue champions.
They've played. They're very talented players, right? Daihu, Lex Luthor, Pirate Rums, and Zeus, and then Evan Day. So
they've been around forever since
they have.
The
So
early days
it's not
of
like
Alpha.
it's not like they're randoms, but they're not the household names quite yet, right?
Yeah.
So if we can talk a little bit more about the seeding.
seeding? Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people would have preferred to see some kind of seeding, but how do you objectively do that in a fair manner? Who do you allow to seed the bracket, and what do you seed it based on?
I think
giving the top 8 teams for ESL Season 2 would have been like...
Well, why ESL?
Because ESL is running both.
yeah, but still, like that.
It's different. It's a different event, though. That's the thing.
The thing is, the problem with that, Zoya, is the fact that ESL Season 2 was something that was locked in well before this was even announced. If ESL Season 2 was an open thing that everyone could compete in, then that's fine. As long as it's something that everyone had their chance to actually try to earn after the Road to BlizzCon was announced, then it's a viable option. But in this short notice, there was nothing that gave that equal opportunity to everyone.
Right. It's also not a Blizzard sanctioned event.
That's
not as big of a
important,
factor.
but
I agree, but like it's still like not something that Blizzard has organized. So like they don't necessarily have to pull from that. So it's like, well, from that logic, why don't you pull from all the Go Fours and why don't you pull from every tournament that's happened? Where do
Yeah.
you draw the line? What do you decide? Like, which one has more weight?
Well,
It's there's a lot of
this-
like slippery slope arguments.
this becomes awkward then, because didn't we also notice that a good amount of the top teams still had buys in the first round? Like Tempo had buys in the first round. Why weren't they in like a round of 90 or 128? There was like most of the teams, actually, most of the big teams had buys in the first round. This is something that I think Kenba brought up, and it was an interesting thing.
That's the case.
Who knows?
I mean, I understand. Like, you guys aren't wrong. It's just hopefully, like, going for number 2, they get seeding from other events as well, not just this one. Like, they take other top tournaments, like whatever pops up, EZL Season 3, Titan Arena 4. Hopefully, they take seeding from that as well and somehow insert it into the other seasons, because then it's just going to be like, I don't know, like what I mean, worst case
Titan
scenario.
Arena 1, I was just like, this team, I think they're the best. Second team, third team. Then I started to do a little bit of math and try to figure out from like ESL and everything else. But for the most part, like I just kind of guessed. It was awkward though.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
So 2ARC had a round of 128 match. The Plays had a round of 128. I think that might be it.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, like that, you would have had something like Tempo Stormers and Maelstrom
Yeah.
round 1. Like,
Evil
that would have been really
Geniuses.
hilarious.
Hilarious.
That would have been hilarious, but luckily nothing that bad happened. But yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like, you know, this tournament, it's less important for her because only first place qualifies for regionals.
Right.
So this one, it's less important for sure.
Yeah, the
because
prizing's the smallest,
the money's
only goes
nice,
first.
but you want to qualify for regionals. That's all you really want right now because
Viewer
that's
voting?
when it starts getting better.
Viewer voting is the worst idea I've ever heard of for seeding a tournament in my life.
You voting?
Actually, the worst idea. I've been in esports for like 10 years doing just Smash stuff. I've heard a lot of different logic. Cora and I used to run Smash tournaments. Seeding was always a big discussion. Viewer voting. Hats off to you. That is impressive.
Hats off.
That's off.
Yeah, it's
That's
just,
off to you.
there's a reason that the viewers are at home, I suppose.
Whoa!
Fought
Wow.
fire.
No, that's just
Now
facts.
makes
If they
enemies.
were gonna play, they'd play. So they
Shut
don't
up.
know.
They're watching us. They are watching us right now. They hear you.
That's still facts. Why would they argue with that? They wouldn't. There's no sensible reason to argue with that.
Saying, man.
Sensible.
Fine. Hey, you want to call that shots fired?
Don't
Go
be-
for it.
don't
Go
be
for it.
sensible.
There's a reason for it.
All right.
Whatever.
So anyway, it was good. It was great. It was a great amount, and I'm glad to
Great.
see that. Great. I agree 100%. And then this weekend, it's going to be pretty exciting. So we've got our last 8 to go through, and it's going to be a double elimination bracket, right?
The top half of the bracket's going to be exciting.
Yeah, bottom half of the bracket's going to be an interesting thing.
I'm excited for it though. I think it's gonna be a good time. Wow, chat hates Kubi so
Chad
much.
does not like Kubi anymore.
It was good while it lasted, boys. I'll see
Who-
you all later.
Who do you guys play first round? Is it Maelstrom?
No, we have Complexity, and then we have the winners of Zebron
Also, you have to buy
or
first round.
Maelstrom.
Then.
Ooh, yeah, pretty much.
You play the winner of Zebron and Maelstrom. How confident are you guys about making it to winners bracket finals?
Oh, really confident, man. Did you see us last weekend? You played
You
us.
guys,
Come
you
on.
guys looked.
Came in swinging,
You guys looked really good. I mean,
except for that last day.
The last
Wow.
day.
We fell asleep the last day.
just wake up.
I think fans said it the best. When we're on point, we are on point, and we're more
Really?
consistently on point. But there are still some days where we have rough times. So when we're playing at our best, we can take games off of Tempo Storm. I think we can win. We definitely can win this tournament. We gave them a run for their money during the playoffs. We were one game off of taking a set of best of 5 off of you guys. And then came the Azmodan
But then you
fun
failed.
stuff. Yeah.
And then we figured out how to draft around you, scrubs.
Yeah. You did.
Wow. Okay.
Get
No,
ready.
you guys got us with the draft. There should be no excuse for us going through a draft and then being like, "Oh, they have 3 promotes." Crap.
I like it might sound like I'm not trying to like I think I like the fact that Temple Storm's on the other side of the bracket because like Jake said earlier, they're kind of like on their own level, right? Like we're playing like so
All
well
right,
right now.
let's,
I like the idea of the other side of the bracket how it is right now because you get to see really close matches, and I 100% agree with Zix. Like they have the potential to take down Tempo Storm in the finals. I think that would be the best finals right now.
As
Is
much as I agree,
I think every team currently in the top three can beat each other. It depends on the day, and it
who are the
depends.
top three to you?
I think it would be between Tempo, us, and Maelstrom.
I would agree, 100%.
I would agree.
I would
Well,
say
wait,
don't.
hold on.
I would
Wait,
say
wait,
don't
wait,
sleep
wait a
on
minute.
Zephyr.
Wait a minute.
Zevron's like it's hard to say. They're really
They're too
unknown.
young. They're not. They're too young to really be able to give them that title of top
They had
three.
a very good debut in WCA, but you have to like put into account that was like literally the day after the new patch, and
Look.
they came in like swinging with the promote stuff, and that was really good adaptation, and to like realize like the day after the new patch that hey, this is really strong. Let's go in with this strategy, and they played it really well for the most part. So they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. We'll
I will
see.
say if Zevron makes it to the finals here, the winners finals, they're easy. I'll be happy to say top three team. I would say Tempo, Maelstrom, and I'd say they would have dethroned Vortex if they advance over you in this tournament.
Are you
Oh,
boys?
snap.
Are you boys telling me that
There's
Stellar Lotus is not gonna win this?
That's my job.
Where
Kevin.
are they in the bracket? I
They're
didn't.
already- we beat
Were
them.
They
got
already
knocked
got
out.
knocked
we
out.
knocked them out.
That's where all the
Because
drama.
you know
came.
why? You know why they got knocked out? Because Tempo Storm had the easiest bracket NA to get through on the open quals.
Okay. All right. Let's just go shots fired mode here. What has Stellar Lotus won? What top four have they been in since they've been
Nothing.
Stellar Lotus?
They won.
Win-
Stellar
win-
Lotus won a match at BlizzCon. They won a match at Mayhem.
No. The fact of the matter is, I have never cast or seen them win under the banner Stellar Lotus in any tournament. So if they're gonna talk trash,
Okay. Well, you could use that logic. Don't get me
but
wrong.
like I'm just
I
saying
like
straight up,
pooping on them.
I don't know
but
if
can-
is there a victory.
Can you remember any time that you've cast a victory for Vortex?
Yeah.
Boom. Ouch.
Zix, do you have any
He's
wins?
like leaning in. He's like,
Zix, do you have any tournament wins?
In my heart,
not
we have
tournament
wins.
wins, but match wins. They've won
But no.
match wins. Like
Well,
Stellar
no,
Lotus,
wait.
they were. Did they win a single match in
Let's
Major League, Kubi?
let's not go on.
I'm not
let's
trying to be
go on the
negative
poop
here,
train, but you are. The thing is that I wanted to bring up was that I understand that maybe they're not the best performing team, but why do you have to shot fired at Tempo Storm, who in the round of
Right,
16
that's why I'm
had
getting
to go against 2ARC?
Listen,
And then say that they had the easy bracket.
Yeah,
my response on Twitter was bottom half, top half, either side is the easy bracket for us. Maelstrom first round, easy side of the bracket. Doesn't matter. We got the easy end no matter what.
It's the first place that matters. You shouldn't be going into a tournament with a team that's established in a gaming house, looking to be the best, thinking, "Oh, we want to get like top 8." No, you want that first spot. You want first place. So you shouldn't be like happy if you get into like top 8. You should be disappointed that you didn't get first.
trash talk and talk smack when you can back it up. That's all I'm gonna say. The past is
could be.
irrelevant. What?
Trash can't back it up.
Did I say at any point I should take the bracket? I never said that. I didn't say that. I just said you and everyone else here, with the exception of Zix. No.
I just didn't get why Jesse Cox, owner of the team, was so upset that Tempo had a free bracket. That's the only thing. Like, if
That's
he was
also
just like,
frustrating. Like,
I think it's fun. I think
it's just like
I think it's fun, but I just, I don't get it.
Rivalries are good in the scene.
It's
Let
not a
people be
rivalry.
salty.
Rivalry means that there's some sort of chance.
I want to see them succeed, man. I need trash talk to be a little bit more warranted because they've been doing this for a while now.
I think it's funny. I like it. Jesse Cox.
I don't think it's a team.
Keep
It's
it up,
more
man.
Jesse Cox than the team. To clarify.
Anybody else notice that ever since Kubi's tirade about the viewers,
been
he's
silent.
gone completely silent?
Sorry, I'm trying
Welcome to the spotlight, Kubi.
Kubi.
Welcome to
The
the
way you get
spotlight.
one of these jerseys is you embrace the salt.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm embracing it. I'm still not wrong. I'm not backing down from my statement. It's
No.
there. It's out there. That's how
what is Jake like showing random fan art? Like
Diablo.
If you notice, Sham2's face is like right here.
Dude,
in
It looks
the
like
image.
Olmec from Hidden Temple.
It does.
Who's that hero? Is he in the game?
Yeah. It's
I've
Olmec.
seen-
Hate you guys. Anyway, where were we? Good talk.
Gooby,
Hi.
would you like to ask us stuff today?
Yeah, do you have any
Oh, I'm
questions?
done. I'm done with the spotlight. That's it.
Wait, there's legit nothing else. There's nothing else on the show notes. Did we already talk about it?
Oh! This is something I actually had a question about, and I kind of have an idea about this, but I would guess I would be better to hear from Zoya and Zix. First pick, do they have the advantage or not? After the double ban, Salt Fest.
Depends on the map. Depends on the
It
map.
depends on the map, and I think it depends on if it's a best of 3, best of 5, or a best of 1. Or
Yeah, that too.
like the psychology between like a best of 3 and a best of 5 is significantly different in drafting than like you would think initially.
Okay, I heard best depends on the map. Which maps?
Bigger
have-
maps. I can't go too much into it.
Yeah.
But to give a
I have
to
statistics.
give a
that's why I'm
to give a
asking. I
blank
have-
statement about it, like for instance, an example would be Garden of Terror. First pick is better because you can guarantee Vikings if it goes unbanned. That is an example you can give. I don't want to go. I can't go too
All
much
right,
into.
So Matt
our
and
spot
I did a
process.
little bit of this as well, but Matt did most of it. Did the data collection from the drafts.
You
in
did
terms
like
of-
8 of them. Don't even take credit.
I said I did a little bit. Is that wrong? What is with you people today? I worked with the people.
Embrace the salt, Scooby.
Okay. Garden of Terror is 4 wins for first pick and 7 for second.
What does that mean?
Okay,
Second
how many
pick
of those?
last.
How many of those games were Vikings banned? And like, you can't also consider like bad teams too. Like, I'm talking about like only at the competitive level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll count like
Wait,
stuff.
where
I
do you
think-
draw
I
the
think-
line?
I think it'd be more interesting to watch this next weekend in terms of first pick, first bans,
Sure.
because when we get down to something like, I mean, unless we're looking at DreamHack, but if we're looking at something like Open Quals Road to BlizzCon,
Like if you
Okay.
look at the games, if any of the games from Vortex, Maelstrom, Zevron, and Tempo Storm and 2 Arc were played on Garden and they had second pick every time, those were all guaranteed to win. Like unless they were versus each other. So like you can't
Guaranteed.
just If it was those versus randoms, they had second pick on Garden.
Versus Rand. I thought you were saying versus each other. I was like,
No,
that
I'm
is
talking
insane.
about from this weekend. The data is
okay.
kind of
okay.
you know,
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. But I will say the
What is
overall
that,
data.
Jake?
It's a stretch.
Superman.
Overall data from this weekend, there were 72 games played. It is 50-50. First pick, second pick.
Yeah.
So, although there was a lot of screaming, hooting, and hollering about how unfair it was from pretty much everybody, it is, at least on that scale, fairly close. Maps aside, etc.
I like the new draft system. I think people need to stop complaining.
Damn.
Vortex sees more success. Best draft system ever.
I just want to make sure it's consistent because I think there's one that's coming up where it's like 2 bans up front for each team, right? For MSI or something like that.
Oh yeah, like
So like at least keep it consistent. That's the only thing I'm asking for. I don't want to be practicing different ban strategies.
We're gonna change the draft system every tournament, just so you know. From now on,
Cool.
each month it's gonna be
Great.
different. And by the time we get to the road to BlizzCon, when it's over, when we get to regionals will be 4 bans per team at the start, and then BlizzCon itself will actually just be 16 bans total.
That means
That's
I get
gonna
to
make-
play support Stitches and support Johanna then.
that'll
Sounds
make
good to me.
people so salty. Like in StarCraft,
Oh god. Yeah.
like if different tournaments had just different map pools, that made people salty. But you're changing the draft for different tournaments, that's gonna be
We could talk about different map pools as an idea now that we are going to have the 8th map, and generally for these kind of events, more than 7 maps is a negative idea. Zix, how do you feel about specific map pools? Like, if a tournament was going to be all best of 3s, and the tournament reduced its map pool down to 5 with 2 bans, would you like that?
It would depend on if they told us this information a week before the tournament or
This
like a
would-
month
this would-
before.
This would be like you're going to sign up for the event. The event happens in 3 weeks. You know the rules.
Then that could be fine as long as there's ample time to be able to prepare for that tournament, and it's like not the same weekend as another tournament with like different
Yeah.
rules.
that's the thing with MSI is you have MSI tournament, which is played by like a lot like whatever teams qualify, and then you have the WCA round 2, which will be played by the same teams. So it's like 2 tournaments, same weekend, same LAN, different draft formats.
What are the?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So can you explain those different draft formats? I don't even know.
Well,
no
MSI
fans
sounds
anymore.
like 2 bans for each team up front rather than one being in the middle. So there's
Ooh.
actually more choke potential with 2 bans for each team up front, and it's significantly different.
That happens mid-July, July 13th, I think.
It's
July
I think it's
11th.
August.
No, qualifiers are
Well,
in July.
the
Qualifiers are
The
July.
MSI qualifiers have those rules as
And
well.
end of August is the MSI
Facts.
finals, MGA finals.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that. That's
Cool.
interesting. Great.
Yeah, it's so cool that we
Yay.
get to do that. Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey, I'm not a player. I just get
Yay.
to watch fun games. I like weird stuff.
Thanks.
Engage.
So,
Kev,
Kobe, what?
you were about to do something.
Was I? What was Kev
Totally
saying?
dropped. I totally blanked on what I was about to say.
Okay, Kubi.
Hi. That's it? That's all I get? Fans? Everyone has forsaken me?
You don't get a full dance. You don't deserve a full dance.
He does deserve a full dance. Chad
No,
is
it's
going
fine.
ham on him.
It's fine. I will take this
No,
burden.
he gets a little wiggle today.
All
These
right.
questions, guys.
Okay.
Sometimes I gotta fight for the fans, man. You know,
Okay.
when we got a bully on the show. You just gotta fight for the fans.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. We're talking about Battlegrounds today. All of
If
it.
our fans were half decent at the game, would you let them seed our bracket?
Then we're just reverse the roles and just put it to me. I saw people asking that. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right. We're talking about Battlegrounds today, and I want to get a little bit more of a feeling in terms of where you guys feel teams can improve specifically for strategies on specific Battlegrounds. Which Battleground do you think teams need to work on the most to get them better results out of it? And I will say, as a caveat to this, I want to hear some theory crafting as well. So there may be some more silly or outlandish answers, but I would expect that with this kind of question.
Sky Temple.
Sky Temple's a good one.
Sky Temple is one of the few maps where you consistently see compositions like double support because you're forced to fight on the shrines and a sustain war will win the shrine if you play it right. And not many teams do it. It's one of the few maps. It could potentially have its own. It's the only map right now that I feel could have its own individual meta, and I don't think that's abused even slightly. There
Wait,
are
what?
a few,
Its own meta.
its own
Compared
meta.
to Haunted Mines. Are we taking Haunted Mines out?
I think the current state of Haunted Mines, you just draft aggressive, which you can have the same. The only thing that changed about Haunted Mines is the value of Zagara and Sylvanas. But you still look for more like aggressive. Like you can look at a Haunted Mines draft and then compare it to like any other map, like one of the smaller maps like Sky Temple and or not Sky Temple, Dragon Shire and stuff, and you can see similar compositions. But I think Sky Temple, you can look at this draft and be like, you do not run this on any other map at all. You
Formules.
can pull off comps like that are super strong on that map and wouldn't be as near effective on other maps. I don't think there's many other situations you can do that.
Okay, so that's from a drafting perspective, more or less, in terms of the composition that you're looking to shoot for on that map. Do you think there's a better? Do you think teams could be improving on how they play the map in terms
Yes.
of getting more efficiency out of it?
I
Kev?
think so.
Go ahead.
I notice constantly that I think a couple of teams do this, but a shrine will do a good amount of damage to a fort. But I also see other teams just say, we're not going to win that shrine. Let's just push down like top fort. Like if it's the second shrine or maybe it's the third double shrine or something like that. They'll push down a fort, which is just like, yeah, that shrine does a good amount of damage. And if you let the enemy team have the bottom lane and they know you're in a different side, they're just going to push down that fort as well. But it's like, you might as well get it because you're not going to win that shrine. So I notice like these really weird strategies that come around Sky Temple as well. That like a lot of people, they'll just keep trying to fight for that shrine, but it doesn't seem to actually do anything. But then there's like other ways you can take advantages that I've noticed. But
yeah, it's just so unique in how it's played compared to every other map. But if you look at the last 20 drafts from the top teams in NA or EU on Sky Tempo. Okay, not EU, because EU they'll run Gazel on Sky Tempo, so never mind. But in NA, you look at the last 20 competitive drafts for Sky Temple.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at most of those composition and go, you can run that on Curstalo, you can run that on Dragonshire, you can run that on any map. But there are potential to where you could a few months ago, 2 months ago, we were running double support a lot.
2 months ago was a different game, man.
Yeah.
Well, no one else at the time was doing that, and it was the same map. And there's so many different strategies, and it can be played so differently. Yet you don't see people really doing that. They haven't tried pushing the limits of the map and compositions on it too much. It's hard to do that with such a limited hero pool, but I think that if any map were to just be played differently, it would be that one. Just because fundamentally it's so different than every other map right now.
Okay. 6?
Oh, jeez.
Without revealing too much, I expect that from both of you guys, not to obviously dive too much into it. But
Right. A map that people could be playing more efficiently is what you're asking about?
to the effect, whether that be through compositions or rotations on the map or how they make use of the mechanic, whatever.
I think I don't want to go with Sky Temple. The other one, I think that maybe people like this map and it's played a lot, Cursed Hollow, but I feel like there's a lot of teams that don't utilize. There's a pattern for the tributes, and there's timings for the tributes, and I don't think even some of the top teams have perfected rotations on that map for tributes and for when to get merc camps. I think there's a lot of min-maxing with the objectives on that map that can be done and that people haven't explored quite yet.
Yeah. That's true. You could do a lot of time, just merc timings in general.
Yep.
People haven't even got close to mastering any form of efficiency. They're just
Yeah.
the camp's up, take it.
I think you
Yes.
can say that for just about every map.
People are 2 minutes, let's go get giants or let's go get knights, but
Yeah.
you can predict for the most part where a tribute's gonna spawn. And I think in the future, as teams start exploring that more and more and learning more and getting better as a team with rotations, you'll be able to okay, this tribute's gonna spawn here or here, and so we can take this mercenary camp at this time. That way we have the lanes pressured near that tribute, and so we can rotate more quickly and at an advantage and be in an advantageous spot.
Right, because you have to figure that you're getting the most out of those merc camps, not really when you're pushing, but for oftentimes when you can guarantee that no one can pay any attention to it. That's when you really get a lot, especially out of the giants. And if you can really devise a way to make sure that that is always happening, you will hands down get way more efficiency compared to the other team, as long as you're timing it out well with the objectives. So yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a good point. Jake?
So one of my personal things that I've been very disappointed about, more so, I don't know if this is as viable as the other topics we just talked about, is Stitches on Spider Queen. I remember thinking strongly about how of a massive threat the hook is on that map, right? The lanes are so small. There's so many places where you can just get vision. You pair that hook with Oracle or just Creep Spread or whatever it is, and it sets up this crazy aggressive style. We already see a lot of aggression on that map, and it's already been proven that aggression on Spider Queen is going to be key. I mean, Vortex thrives on that map. That's your map for a reason, because you guys are known for that early game. But man, I was so hopeful for the rise of Stitches on that map when we first saw it coming out, because I was just thinking of the sick plays that could happen in so many different parts of the map.
Jared, you have to be. I said this is for theory crafting, okay? I appreciate what Jake's bringing to the table. Don't take your headphones off at him. Jake, continue.
I'm just saying, look at Stitch's win rate in Road to BlizzCon.
No. I know Stitches has a problem, right? They nerfed his damage a little bit too much.
Yeah,
they nerfed his hook. I feel like he got nerfed a little bit too much at once, and I'd like to see them bring him back up a little bit. But that's such an interesting dynamic, right? You're never safe.
Well, you say the map's built around aggression, right? Stitches isn't aggression.
He could be.
He's picks. Like there's a difference between them. Aggression is Kerrigan, where you're constantly in their face, moving stuff. Stitches is you throw out a hook and then you're AFK 16 seconds.
Right, so that's a map where fishing hook isn't really as important, and that's a map where you could see crazy things like shish kebab, and a lot of experimenting could be done. In the meta where Stitches was viable, it was purely fishing hook, and that was the only possible pick. Right, sometimes we'd get the slam when it was still stunned. Obviously, without the stun, that is not an option. But it was the name of the game was fishing hook. But shish kebab is an interesting option, right? That's a completely different dynamic. And you start pulling two members at once, they try to body block with the one minion, guess what? They can't do that. And it creates just a really cool thing that I don't know, we haven't seen in any region.
Smog.
Smog,
Strikes.
boys.
I
I'd
swear
love
to
see
God,
it.
if shish kebab gets patched and then like 4 months from now it's used, Jake is going to reference this episode.
Yes, you will.
Call it right now.
Just wait till you see my helping hand support Stitches.
Okay.
Watch out for it. Tomb the Spider Queen.
So yeah, Stitch. I would be all about it, but I don't think that any amount of, I don't know. The more I see his play, it's just like
He's so much less guaranteed, right? That's the issue with Stitches is like
yeah.
you pick any of these other warriors and there's far less risk, right? You initiate, it works, you eliminate the target, good, great, grand, right? Hooks, they just nerfed everything about Stitches, and it's the risk reward isn't there anymore. The duration.
There is situations you can make Stitches work, right?
Okay.
Like triple warrior.
Thanks.
I knew
Jared.
it. I knew it.
But
Are
yeah.
you ragging on Triple Warrior? Come on. It's the best. Pyroblast?
That broke me, man. Oh man.
Pyroblast
Okay.
hook? That's
Thank
the
you,
dream.
Jake. Thank you for your comments about Stitches. Anyone else have any less used heroes that you think might start to improve efficiency on some of these maps? If we want to get into that specific facet of the question.
Like
Specific. That is very specific.
again, like it would be
Like double support. That's a reasonable response to that. On Sky Temple.
stylistically the only like again it would just like go back to Sky Temple where like you see EU. SK specifically will run Gazlo, and then multiple teams will run Hammer. Like
We've seen Gazlo attempted in NA, and it just never works out, right?
That's because they're not as good as SK.
Damn.
Yeah. We need to tinker around with our meta.
Stop.
Okay.
That was good. I like that one. I give you a pass there.
Don't like
Look how happy he is. Look at him.
I finally like accepted one of his puns for like the first time in like 3 months.
Okay.
All right, boys, let's wrap up. We're done here. Done with Town Hall.
If we're asking like if we're talking about like this a specific hero changing it, the only one I could think of right now would be Hammer.
Hammer.
And
And you can make the assumption that this hero is played at like a way higher skill level than what we see now. And you have to take into consideration that the hero isn't being played to the potential because the hero doesn't work in any of the metas. But
it's not that just
assume
that it's being played to the potential, it's that there's no compositions that have been played yet to
So what if Hammer had Bolt at 20? It's a weird question. What if Hammer had Bolt at 20? How much
What
of
if
it?
Arthas had Resurgence again at 20?
What if Abathur?
How much to respond to
What
that
if
question?
Abathur, anytime he symbioted somebody, it cloned them, and another friend from your friends list gets randomly pulled into your
that's
game? It has to
basically- like, that was reaching a bit, but that was the same vein of question. Like,
I think you'd see me in Hero League doing a lot of Bolt W plays on kids.
and then done.
it would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'd probably die, but
Yeah.
be fun. It look cool.
Yeah. It's like, that's like the Falstad mindset when you go gust of wind. You fly in behind people, you push them. It's like, yeah! And then
You die.
Mighty Ghost.
But that's esports.
I think Dragon Shower is actually a map that a lot of people could play better. It's not that I'm saying that the top teams don't, but I noticed that a lot of the lower tier teams play it. It always seems to be Dragonshire is the map where it's the decision making, like the team that's got the better decision making is always going to win.
It's about
And I
rotation.
just noticed, the rotations coming from like the lower end teams or the teams that are just a little bit more mechanically superior make less sense than other ones. Like if you have bottom lane presence, if you dominate the bottom lane in Dragonshire, you're going to be able to pick up 3 sets of mercenary camps easily and start pushing that. And then so the top becomes less important. But you see so many different teams just not really like experiment and start pushing down the right lanes at the right times, or not rotating in a way that they're like, oh, we need to get the Dragonite, and they spend so much trying to get the Dragonite that they lose the Dragonite. That's one of those maps that I always see the most amount of mistakes on
So
in
this
terms
is
of.
that's a great thing to point out because this is one of the things that reminds me the most of StarCraft 2. In StarCraft 2, when maps started to get a little bit more seasoned, players started to figure out very specific things. They started to figure out how to maximize situations, maximize drops, maximize proxy gates, whatever it happens to be. KO! Dreadnought
Oh
Arthalon!
no.
We in there.
Oh dear,
That's a tempo sandwich. All right.
that's not a
And-
sandwich. That
oh.
isn't.
And
Sandwiches and people look completely different.
So if we look at
True.
competitive heroes, Dragonshire and Cursed Hollow, by far the two most played, longest standing maps in the competitive meta, by far the two most figured out maps where we see the largest skill gap between a newer team and a seasoned team.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll agree with that. And that was I think kind of goes back to tying up to the whole entire Cursed Hollow thing, is that even though that map has been around for absolute ages, we still haven't figured out those mercenary camp timings. We still haven't figured out how to get the curse tributes timed up with mercenary camps and your map presence and all that. And that's why I feel like, yeah, it's weird though, right? Because it's been around for a year. We've been playing the same maps for a year. There's been changes, of course, but shut up, Dread. I hate you so much. Dread is just, look at how dumb he looks smiling right now.
Holy,
Ooh.
damn, he
No,
can't hear
sorry.
you, but
Anyway,
he
but
knows.
yeah, I know he does. Anyway, that's what I feel like is one of those interesting things. We've been playing this map for a year, but we still haven't perfected it. We still haven't gotten everything down yet. Anybody else find that odd? No? Okay.
I mean,
No, that's
that
very
just
good
means
point.
it's
That's
a-
why I thought of the question. Honestly,
it's if it could be figured out that easily and mastered that easily, then it wouldn't be a good game.
okay.
I know.
You segue into another point very well, Jared.
It's
What?
just a good game. 6.5 out of 10. We're done.
What is what are some tools that Blizzard could implement that would help to accelerate the improvement rate? So right now, I mean, obviously competition is going to drive teams to start analyzing this type of thing, but I was thinking if we could like jump into replay at a certain point.
I mean, that was a thing in
to help with-
StarCraft. It won't be a thing.
Give
I don't
more
think so.
information.
Won't be a thing.
I don't think that helps too much, though.
I think
What if there were situations where you could create scenarios? I'm trying to think of ways that could help to improve this, because especially when it comes to late game decision making, you have
maybe
to
just like a better practice mode.
I honestly
even
think
something
then,
to that
just
effect,
grind out
maybe.
games.
I think this is more of a community resource where the community needs to make better tutorials and guides in general.
You know what a good place for those
Yeah.
great guides and tutorial is, though? TempoStorm.com has a brand new Heroes of the Storm section where you can check out guides written by actual professional players, like this guy right here, and not by random noobs on HeroesFire.com.
Hey, I have 300,000 views on my random views.
Are you saying that our viewers are not able
Yeah,
to write
that
guides?
is actually the best point I can make. When it's the most viewed guide on Heroes Fire, you know that the
Actually
quality
not.
of guide there is low. So
Oh,
Jared,
Thanks,
are you
Kevin.
saying that our
You're
viewers
helping
can't
out
write
a lot
guides?
there.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying they can make guides. I'm just saying we have, actual people.
You
who know
say
what
that all the noobs over there are Heroes Fire. So anyone listening,
Kubi,
this is a great way for me to divert blame. This is a great way. Give me my moment, okay?
No, see, here's
Give me
the
my
thing,
moment.
Kubi. Here's the thing. He embraces it. You tried to shrug it off.
No, I
He
didn't.
embraces that he
No, I did
hates
not.
the viewers.
I did not try to shrug it off. I said my points were points.
He's
That's
the
it.
villain. He knows he's the villain. You're just the guy who messed up.
I can't do it, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Well, guys, remember
I tried.
to go to heroesfire.com for all of Shamtu's guides.
Heroes
But no,
Fire.
Heroes Fire is actually a
Yeah.
really good place for guides.
Oh, man. It
Yeah.
is.
You know what's a better place for guides? FanHot's YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Dan Hot too.
Good. Yeah, great. YouTube.com/fanhots does not work at all. He's dead to me.
Ouch.
And you didn't even spell my name right, Kubi. You didn't even spell my name right.
YouTube.com/fan. Is this gonna be like the sickest YouTube channel?
Anyway, all right, back on track.
Were we ever on?
Where were we?
Oh,
Hello, friends.
I think Kubi's questions is
Do you
done.
think-
yeah, the
do you
Kubi's
think-
question is done.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's done.
I don't know his YouTube.
Questions from the Reddit thread.
What are your thoughts on Stitches?
Kubi's question is my favorite part of this whole show.
It's a start on Stitches. Excellent.
I'm not even kidding. So I'm sad that we're over with Kubi's questions. Other than Stitches, has nothing other than a hook, and that's half the problem because the hook's too hard to land.
See, Jake, get out of here.
Make it better.
Get out of here with your nonsense, Jake.
Make it better.
If they changed Gorge, it could be viable as like a peel style tank, but the issue with it is when you Gorge and bring, like, you isolate the one target and you either run into their team, suicide, and die, or you bring the target you're isolating into your team, and if you don't get a kill in that time, you're dead and pretty much suicide your team.
Jared, I have a bone to pick with you before
No.
we talk about Stitches.
Oh, premium?
Why are these all Hearthstone things? I'm not gonna pay for a Hearthstone thing. Give me Heroes ones. They're hexagons, right idea.
Sure, I can make that happen.
Thanks, buddy.
Stitches is a bad joke, and when you miss your cue, doesn't even have a good hook.
Right.
I've never hated anyone more.
What?
Than
6 what?
like, you've got like my hate for EU, and then Kevin just like way up here. Like, that was no. Can we end the show, please? Like, get out before he does another one.
Jared, tell us how much you like milk.
Oh God, please. The lactose life. It could be real, boys.
You lactose?
No. Nope. Next Reddit question. Kubi's chugging that
somebody
milk.
asked a
Kubi's
question.
just chugging milk.
Somebody asked the question. Hype
Hey.
with 3 exclamation marks.
What a question.
Apparently, so this is an interesting thing. Hollowness asks, what do you guys think that different region use different draft system for Road to BlizzCon? Latin America uses one ban per team system still, instead of double ban.
I don't think
How does that even happen?
that shouldn't
That
be
should
the
be a
case.
thing.
I know EU will use the same as NA. I know that Southeast Asia is using it, but Latin America, it sounds like in error, honestly. That's not good.
That's not good.
It's not good.
That's not good.
That's a problem considering the winner of that region will be playing on double ban in our region, and there's no consistency, so they can't practice it. All right, Blizzard, hope you're listening because that's not good.
All right. Everybody's asking about it.
Ugh,
Zeratul auto attack build. What are you guys thinking about it?
It's pretty good.
it's OP.
It's OP?
It's
Really
OP.
good.
Soapy.
Really good.
Why?
What do you mean?
Because it
Why?
hurts.
You seen it?
It's
No,
more
I mean,
damage
I know-
output, it's
I've
easier
seen
to
it.
execute, and you don't.
I'm
When you die, you don't
Saying.
lose
Lose
so
got
much
it
of your
in
ability.
Okay, there we go.
I mean,
See?
that's the answer.
Okay, you can't have an ability as good as Void Prism and then have a good hero too.
Prison.
Prison.
Sorry.
Void
Like
prison.
jail.
Yeah, all the EU casts say Prism.
Don't look at me like that.
Huck said Prism too.
Anyway,
Everyone calls it Prism.
No, he's
You
really
have
good.
some
I don't know if he's like God's Tier broken. Yeah.
He is when you have Bloodlust. Let me tell you.
We want to make Bloodlust a thing. That's
I'm
not going to be
surrounded
with
by
auto attack.
idiots.
Tell
VP
you
for
that.
the setup.
Stop! That's the Hearthstone noise, isn't it? No, that's the same.
That's the Warcraft 3 noise,
Excuse
Kubi.
me. I don't know. I never played the game. I can't. I don't.
Holy dead.
so
So, getting more of them questions.
The whole office.
somebody
is
asked
probably
me
just
to
like
rank
Wise.
all of the EU and NA teams, and
In one
I put
giant list?
Stellar Lotus. Yeah, top 5 overall teams: Stellar Lotus, Stellar Lotus, Stellar Lotus, Stellar Lotus, Stellar Lotus. No,
Don't forget 2-Arc.
If you're going to draft Triple Warrior, you're going to be top 5.
I don't even want to attempt that. I really don't even want to attempt that. They said because I've been casting NA and EU. I don't want to. Nope.
That's
Yeah,
easy.
you have to actually
That's
answer.
easy. It's tempo Liquid, G2 Maelstrom, I don't know who's fourth there. I don't know who's fifth there.
Star.
See, that becomes weird.
Wait, it was just NAU.
That's why I don't know. That's the difference between NA the NA meta versus like drafting is weird.
Maelstrom's probably better than G2.
Team Liquid definitely I think is better mechanically than Tempo, but Tempo like strategy and decision making wise, I feel like would probably win them first place.
Tempo has the best rotations in the world, in my opinion. Probably not the best team fight, but definitely the best rotations.
That's what I'm saying, but team fights are kind of big in this game. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, but so are rotations because
Are they?
Because if you can get that one pick late game,
Yeah.
you can just flat out win the game.
So
Tempo often loses early games for a reason.
Okay,
Sooner-
one pick late game comes from rotations, not team fights.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's
but
why
you
Tempo tends
see-
to win in the late game and lose in the early game because
Yeah,
your
but
team
these-
fights are worse, but your rotations are better.
We don't lose in the early game anymore.
Well, not as often, but back in the day, that was your thing.
Yeah.
But like game 3, Team Liquid versus Gamers 2, they were down. They barely got like the 16 to 18 fight down under their belt, and they just basically tore Gamers 2 apart and were able to win the game. Like that was really good decision making, and that was all mechanics more than anything else.
Yeah. I mean,
We can't make any decision though.
Yeah, I can't make a decision on Tempo.
We could
I would
speculate all
probably
you
say
want, yeah.
Tempo over Team Liquid. Then I'd probably say Gamers 2.
Kubi, can you show us that
If
cat?
they don't pick Hammer.
The cat?
Other side.
If G2 doesn't pick Hammer, they are a better team than most.
They are a really good team. They are really.
But they
good.
like to pick Hammer a lot.
Oh, look at that cat.
I'm gonna even throw China in there. I would throw eStar as number 4, and then number 5. I'd probably put.
I'd put E-Star. Because they draft normal, I'd put E-Star at 3.
Really?
Yeah.
They draft normally.
They don't draft like dum-dums.
So I just want to answer this question in chat very quickly. I think we should all do one fast if we can. One hero that needs nerfs and how would we nerf them? Zeratul, and I would make the Void Prison be a little bit more like Maw to the point where it spawns and grows, so it's not instant, just kind of like.
That's what's fun about it.
Well, that's also really good, and
It is really good, but you can
There's no
you can, like,
response.
do things like decrease the range on it, or maybe decrease the duration of it. I think first would be a better way to go about it. But that's just me.
Okay. Anyone else? Any other heroes you would nerf and why?
I don't think I'd nerf any heroes right now.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
might be inclined to agree with that. Let me look at the list.
Don't look at me like that.
Dread's got an answer. Dread, what's your answer?
I wouldn't nerf any heroes. I would nerf certain things, like promote needs just to be gone.
I take blood for blood off.
Sylvanas probably needs a nerf.
Yeah,
actually.
Sylvanas. Her trait. That trait needs to be like 0.75 seconds instead of 1 second. Like there needs to be at least one tower shot every
If
once in a
both
while.
NA and EU are like permabanning her, then you know it's a problem.
Yeah.
Like if EU recognizes broken,
So
then,
how would you
like,
fix her?
How would you fix her? I don't know.
I'd make the trait effect less so that you would have to stagger out your abilities to make the trait permanent instead of having to just auto attack something.
Well, like the trait is like a clear problem, but is it like really just the trait, or is it the fact that she's
That's
got
what makes her
AoE
really
silence?
super threatening. The AoE silence is that's really good, but I think that's the part of the rotations that makes her scary.
Okay,
is
well,
that-
like like when Sylvanas first came out for like the first like month or two she was out, yeah, she was like top pick worthy, but she wasn't like she is now. Now that people know how to silence, like they know when and who to hit with a silence instead of just like, oh, there's a clump of heroes here, I'm gonna silence the 3 of them. Well, too bad those are like auto attack heroes and it doesn't really accomplish too much. Like now that people know how to efficiently use silence and position her well, now she's scary. Like she's super scary. She was just annoying before, but now she's ridiculous.
Yeah, but even then, I think
Your
it's-
stupid grin's pissing me off so much right now.
I mean,
There it is,
I noticed
Captain.
I noticed the
Coach.
Sylvanas. I know Sylvanas getting the most amount of worth when you get that team fight and you win it, and then all of a sudden you're able to push down like forts and everything really quickly. I think it's I don't know. I think
It's a
good amount of
combination
trade.
of-
Yeah, it's a combination.
It's a combination of the two that makes her really strong. I think though, ultimate is
She's-
probably more deadly than the passive itself. The passive is a pretty silly design, I think, but I don't think it's just that makes her like out of this world and so contested in drafts and such.
Yeah.
Well, we're down to 10 minutes, so final thoughts on this before we do shoutouts. Any other final thoughts on Why are you giggling?
I was laughing at chat. Beckwin cracks me up.
He's a funny guy. Shoutouts? Kevo.
Sure, guys. Just uploaded new free week, so go check that out. YouTube.com/sham2. This one's Kerrigan. I got wrecked in the playthrough, but the guide is actually pretty good. The Titan Arena signups are on Reddit. I'm going to be posting them up on my Twitter, so of course you can just follow me at Sham2, and that's about it.
Zoloff? Wait, and Zoloff, before we get to your shout out, I just want to show this on screen. I credit the team for starting these titles. And if I switch to the scene, we can see Raydad and Fromom are a great culinary duo. Also realizing during our lunch, it's my anniversary with Tempo Storm. And there's Papa Raydad cutting some broccoli. Damn.
Nicely done. Well done.
I laughed a lot.
He looks just like so confused as why his picture's getting picked.
It's like, do I have to stab you right now?
All right. Big
Four
shout out
years.
to Tempo Storm and all our sponsors. Dred, can you name our 4 sponsors?
Twitch and G2A.
I don't know if you can hear them, but Funk, Name Cheap, Twitch, and
I
G2A.
heard him.
Big shout out to those guys that make all this possible. I will be in Burbank, California this weekend for Road to BlizzCon. I'll be doing camera work. So be free to tweet at me. We're starting something. I don't know how serious it's going to get, but some of the players are starting to offer coaching lessons. I think I'm just going to kind of handle that all for them and schedule them. So if you guys are happen to be interested in coaching, from the top team in the world, send me an email to zoya@tempostorm.com.
Nice.
We're still looking for a few more writers for the website as well, tempostorm.com. We have hero guides, we have map guides, really cool website. Go check it out. And you can write your own guides there too. We have our own talent calculator as well. But if you're interested in writing articles for us as well, email me at zoya@tempostorm.com as well. And cheer the team on the road to BlizzCon this weekend. We're going to qualify for regionals for sure. And if we can actually manage to sign up for Titan Arena 4, we'll be at that too. But, GoStoGamers.com is kind of a pain.
It's not that bad.
It's that bad.
It really isn't.
Shots.
It's ESL tier.
At the halfway point of this, I'm going to do special shout-outs for the Town Hall Invitational before we get to the rest of the shout-outs. Shout-out to pretty much all our top donators. Mean Buffalo, this is the 50 and plus club. Mean Buffalo, $50. Elliot Faye, $50. CJ Hamster, $50. $50 from, actually $93 from Evergreen Trail because he did 2 back-to-back. $125 from These Law, Simply Lazy with $350, by far our biggest donation. So, dude, you're awesome. And today, Crow316 came in with another $150, pushing us over the $1,500 marker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you guys so much for supporting our event, and we'll have more details on that soon. Sorry for just throwing that in the middle.
Hey Zoya, if you need a guide writer, I know a guy who can write a really mean Diablo guide.
Who?
All right, Kubus.
Hi. I'm going to also be casting this weekend for the round of 8. I don't know if I want to speak on everyone else's behalf in terms of who else is casting, but Jared had also mentioned that he would be doing the observing, so very much looking forward to that. It will be a very, very good show, and I hope you guys are looking forward to that. We will see some of the NA's finest teams going at it for almost the largest first place prize, second largest, I think, at this point, but still a very sizable prize pool, and it's only going up month to month, so I'm very excited to be part of that. And I look forward to that, so check that out this weekend, and I think that's really all that's going to be happening for me until next week, so we'll go with that.
Zix.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
All right. Shout out to my sponsors: G2A, Logitech, Zam, BenQ, HyperX, Alienware, HTC, Law Class, Intel, Need for Speed, NVIDIA, and Overwolf.
I can see you reading that list. You need to memorize that.
I'm not reading it. That's obviously not reading that.
I just
It's
glanced
in
my
my
eyes
head.
around when
Yeah. Also, catch us. We're gonna be playing the round of 8 for the Road to BlizzCon. We'll be the ones that win it at the end on Sunday. So
Nice.
be ready for that. And keep an eye out on our team. We got a lot of big stuff coming up, and I think people will be really surprised.
Am I going to be surprised?
Everybody will be surprised. It's gonna blow your mind.
Man, who was more funny this episode? Sham 2 of his puns or Zix thinking Vortex can win? Wow. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
really hope they win now, just because it's gonna feel so good next week.
Zoya, if
When
we
you haven't
win,
ate that?
I'm buying you a E-Star shirt to wear.
Okay.
at BlizzCon.
That's-
I like
that's
this bet.
awesome.
I like this
I
bet.
like it.
I like
I'm
that.
in. I'm in.
Because you love China so much. We all know.
Wait a minute. What does Zoya? What does
Wait,
Zoya?
wait. Win a game or win like the series? 'Cause I think either way you don't have a chance.
Ooh, I don't know. Did you see those playoff games? Got
Alright.
dicey for you guys.
RNG.
RNG, yeah.
Okay.
I love you. I love you.
You know,
Shout out to our awesome guest Zix. He's been absolutely
Yes.
awesome on our
Yeah.
show today.
thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Zix. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, shout out to Huck for casting me this past weekend. It was a lot of fun. Definitely interesting casting with someone who's got a diverse background like him, but still his first cast for Heroes. It was a fun weekend. This coming weekend, I, of course, will still be here in Burbank. And yes, I, in fact, will be casting alongside Kubi and maybe some others. Those announcements will come when they come. And yeah, this whole thing was just a big shout out to Blizzard because Blizzard ESL and Twitch. I've been working alongside with them for the last 23 or 24 days. That's why I haven't been streaming because I've been living here in California, Smogland, destroying my throat. Basically trying to get all this Road to BlizzCon stuff underway, working through the whole process. And it's been kind of like a dream because I like to think of myself as like one of the original Heroes producers. I've been creating content for Heroes longer than anyone. Did I do the first broadcast for Heroes? Oh,
No.
No?
Talk about like tournament?
Yeah.
That was us over at the ESL Diamond stuff.
Kings wasn't before that?
Nope.
Kings was before that.
HPL.
Kings was before that, but there was no broadcast.
I actually cast the first day of HPL. The first ever HPL cast I did.
I think Diamonds
whose
League
channel
was
was it on?
first. I'm
Whose
pretty
channel
sure
was it on?
Diamonds League's first. Like it was Dunk Train, myself, and like Sham 2 casting Diamonds League first.
Oh yeah.
What was it called? The ESV Championship Series. I think that was the very
Yeah.
first
Was
tournament.
that
HPL
before
came
Nex-
after.
I streamed a
ECS.
Nexus Champ, the first ever
That
cast.
came after. That
On
came
Nexus
after.
Yes. That's right.
Okay. All right. Anyways, it's cool to
Get
be
wrecked,
involved.
Jake. Get wrecked.
It's cool to be involved in this whole process, and super stoked to be casting. It's going to be a cool event. Hopefully, we have some good games. And until then, I guess that's us signing out. Next week, normal stream returns, so be sure to follow the channel. I gave away 50 skins or so this past weekend.
Jesus.
And I'm giving away tons and tons and tons of more skins on the channel. Within the next 3 weeks or so, I'm unveiling a pretty much whole new stream layout that's going to be really sick. Like, I hate to give spoilers, but I have to. It's entirely inspired by Future Man Gaming, and it's going to be very Heroes meets Future Man Gaming, kind of. So that should be fun. And yes, till next time, guys. Peace of Rooney.
Piece of Rooney.
Jared, give me a better word. Better word.
Well, that was good, man.
No, better one.
Jared, where's your
Your
ending
music.
song?
That's it for Town Hall Heroes, episode 68. We'll see you next time. Without Zix, someone else will be there. Hello?
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 Do we?
Hello.
Hello. Hello, friend.
The team is waiting on me to get Chinese food, so
Oh, the Chinese food though.
that got
Let's go.
real.
That is
We're still live, and this is
Oh.
awesome.
God.
Apparently we're still live at all.
That is please. Can we not? Can we not do that?
He wasn't lying. Red Knot just did that live. Okay, well, we're gonna go get Chinese. Hello? I'll see you guys later.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
You're a beautiful man, Dread.
Mute it.
Yeah, everyone that was Zix, not Dread. Okay, well. So